back at it, y'all. Y'all see who it is? Y'all see who it is? We back at it. We back at it. We back at it. Guess who's back? Back again, again, again. We are back. Tell your friends. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? We back, y'all.
Yes, sir. Look, man, you already know what the title is, and if you haven't, well, you should have read the title, bro. Okay. Look, man, I know we're just getting started, so I'm ready for the people to come in again. See, I'm not going to just like cut and then just tell the people go to the replay. I want these people to come here right now so they could hear this live action. Salutes to Marcus. All right.
Sophomore Marcus cooking sandwiches. What up, baby?
Exactly. How's those sandwiches, Marcus? So shout out to Knowledge Relationships, Intellectual SoapBox, M3 TV Network. Yes, sir. So, as you can see the title, most people are losers and parasites. And here's the thing. Well, some of y'all don't, what people don't even know, right? In fact, let me go ahead and put out. I got my notepad ready. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why y'all effed up, but yeah, go ahead.
but see, I'm gonna save it when it's time, because here's the thing, I got a list for the men and I got a list for the women as well too. Damn. So just to make sure that you guys are feeling special, okay? So I'm gonna tell y'all, okay, each individual why y'all fucked up. All right. And Margaret says, please make sure if you haven't hit the notification bell, like, share, leave a comment, sub to Knowledge Relationships on YouTube. Thank you, Marcus. Salutes to you, soldier.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, brother.
As he told y'all.
We gotta give a special shout out too, bro. Special shout out. You know what I mean? The shooter, Stan. You know what I mean? Get well soon, baby. No, you're not feeling too well, man. Also gotta give a shout out to, you know what I'm saying? QueBee, man, feel well, get better soon. You know what I mean? You know, we are here, we holding it down for y'all.
Absolutely. See, well, while we wait for more people, we're gonna have a casual conversation, but don't worry. Oh, it's coming. Because I feel like the time is coming and it should be addressed, But yeah, most definitely, get well. It's like, to our peoples, especially with QueBee. So anytime you're on my mind, sister, like, we always have you in our thoughts, prayers, and also in good spirits as well, too. So I can't wait.
She posted something, too, today.
Oh, she did?
Hey, man. Yeah, check it out, yo. She posted something. I haven't got a chance to look at it yet, but I just see it pop up. I'm definitely going to view it. So, yeah, QueBee, get better. You know what I'm saying? And Stan, man, get better, man. But I told you, Stan, I warned you. We both warned you about eating that bull crap. Okay, we told you. Don't eat the McDonald's, but you ain't listen to us. Now look at you. Look at you now. We told you. We told you.
When you don't listen, that's what happens. Okay? Not listening to us, it's a sin at this point. Stay away from McDonald's, y'all. Okay? Shout outs to my cousin, I'm going to address by his Facebook name, but no matter of fact, no, I'll just say it. Shout outs to Marquise, my cousin, on the YouTube side. I see like the care, so thank you, my brother. I know a lot of times when we go live on the Facebook side, he's like one of the first people to share the videos from Facebook. So he may not come to like the YouTube side, but Facebook, oh yeah, he is like a diehard supporter. So shout out to the cousin,
Salute to the family. Salute to the family. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, right? Look, man, the winter is coming, okay? This is cold winter. All right. I know we talk about cold winter for the women, but look, for the men, man, look, you guys gotta eat right. Seriously. Okay. Got a lot of colds, flus going around. Let's not be slacking around. Okay. If you can't go to the gym, at least utilize your time to walk around. At least get your 10,000 steps in. Get some exercise and eat right. You know, I know that's what I'm doing right now at this point. Matter of fact, I mean, besides like, you know, like
you being nice to them right now. Don't be nice to them. Listen, man, look, all right. Y'all be buying a whole bunch of garbage on Amazon that y'all don't need. All right. Buy you some little 8-pound weights, okay? You can buy a set. They're 8-pound weights, is what I use. It will work your whole body out. You know what I mean? You don't need.
Well, hold on, Mr. Best Right. I'm just getting started though. See, I'm on level 1 right now. Man. See, I'm not trying to run them away yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to wait until more people come in, because it seems like, you know,
it's just the fact that they waste money on so much other things. Like y'all be wasting money on other things. I know y'all be wasting money on other things. Y'all know y'all waste money. So why not waste money on why not invest your money in things that are actually good for you? You're spending the money anyway on things that are frivolous. So go ahead, MP. I'm sorry.
You know what? No, you good though. All right, look, I you know what? I'm just being too patient, right? You know, people should come here already, man, to hear the word. So look, I'm just gonna say this, okay? If y'all missed out some of the parts right in the beginning, go ahead and catch the replay, all right? And then be offended later. But I'm gonna just say this. A lot of people, right, you know, they come on these spaces, they have a different persona, okay? Like, you are not the type of person that you are outside of YouTube, outside of social media. And quite frankly, for both of you guys, y'all need to stop fronting, okay? Stop fronting. Y'all need to be you and just admit that you are the losers that you are, okay? And for particular women, you're a parasite. You leech off of other dudes' success. You have no talent. So you need someone to pretty much upgrade your lifestyle. But here's the thing. I have no problem with a man coming to your life to upgrade your lifestyle. What I do have a problem is the appreciation value that you carry. You guys are thinking more than what you really are. Okay? And that's a problem in this community. Even though as much as I'm talking about these stupid ass relationships, but sometimes things gotta get addressed. All right? Y'all just sitting around.
But half of the time, the men that upgrade their life ain't even a man. He's not even your man. Oh, man. God, man.
Oh, man. I'm just, man, like I said, I'm just ready to bust out these notes, man. I'm going to give it a few minutes. I'm going to give it a few minutes before I go down the list, man. And I know by the time I go down the list, somebody's going to come out of nowhere and be like, what you guys is talking about? And they're going to have to reiterate again. But that's okay, though. I'm giving y'all some time, man, because y'all need to listen to this. Seriously. You know what I mean? Because these relationships, man, like that you guys get in is trash. Look, I did a short, right? That people need to apply this advice before the end of 2022. And the thing is, if you don't apply the advice before 2022 ends, okay, you're going to be stuck. Because I said this before, relationships are only going to get worse, all right? Because y'all not following the protocol. I'm going to tell you what's wrong, y'all, right? What's wrong is y'all chasing after the wrong people. But y'all know that. Y'all acting like y'all don't know any better, but y'all do. You guys have common sense. But because that particular person is making you feel a certain type of way, you are willing to hold on to that person no matter how much pain and misery that person is putting you through. So to me, don't expect me to have pity. I'm going to just tell you, you get what you deserve. Just like what Kevin Samuelson would say. You know, you put yourself in situations, okay, you had good husbands or whatever, a good man that's husband material, but then you cheat on your husband and you go back to your baby daddy who's only selling you a dream.
A dream. Say that again.
And a lot of y'all believe in that dream way too much. And fellas, look, man, just admit the fact that you just don't have this, that blah, blah, you know? You don't have that mouthpiece to really talk to people, period. You can't even talk to women. If you don't know how to talk to a real man, you don't know how to talk to a real woman. So y'all come in these spaces talking about you get 5 or 10 different bad bitches, but yet you come over here for advice. We got enough people here. Like, we got some folks watching, so let me go ahead and get started, right? For men, all right? Even though you're not real men, but I'm just going to say it anyways, okay? The number one problem with you guys, you punks are way too passive-aggressive. Hey, wait, Mark says, can you repeat whatever that was you did, M3, again?
Oh, you did a blah, blah, blah.
That blah, blah, all right? They ain't got the verbiage. That's what it is, you know? So, if you don't know how to use the mouthpiece to talk, to connect, then that's your problem. You get mentally frustrated, and then you want to take it out on women because you, in particular, cannot get no play by them.
Ooh, can I add on to that, please?
Of course. We got a tag team anyway.
Tag team champions, baby. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Look, and sometimes, okay, there's some women you can't see them every day. All right, I know this is foreign to some of you dudes, and I may be speaking a different language, but there's some women you can't see her every day. Okay, you maybe see her once a month. Hell, you may see her maybe once every 3 months. All right, you know what I mean? She's not the type of girl that you see all the time. Okay. All right, you may hang out with her here and there. Plus, if you're supposed to be on your business and handling business, how are you able to see this woman all the time anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like this was, you know, some hobo, you know, sexual thing. You know what I'm saying? Which I, you know, salute to Stan and Lola on that one. But yeah, man, like, how you seeing her? You seeing her every day? Like, there's certain women you're not gonna see every day, man. All right, and certain women don't want you to see them every day. Some of them are busy. All right, they're out there chasing their goals, their dreams. You know what I mean? They're out there traveling. They're out there trying to get the bag. They're spending time with their family, so they may not have time to see you all the time, man. It's okay. She may like you, but she gonna be like, man, like, why you always sweating me? Like, he ain't got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Women want a man that has something to do. Okay, and he's about something. If you're not about nothing, guess what? You know what I mean? My old school principal from junior high school said this: if you do nothing, you get nothing. And to add on to that, if you're not about nothing, then guess what? You're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You're not about nothing, you're going to get nothing as well. Okay? A lot of times, you're not about anything. And the women see right through you. She sees right through you. She knows that you don't have nothing going on. She knows. You know what I mean? You're not trying to pursue anything. She knows that you're not going to the gym. She knows. You know what I mean? That you are not pursuing a career path. You're not going to school. You're not trying to do anything to better yourself. You're just sitting and being lazy every single day. There's nobody calling you for career opportunities. There's nobody calling you to better their life. You know what I mean? You don't have multiple friends in different states and places. You don't have anything. She knows this. She knows that the only people that you see are the people in your neighborhood. She knows this, and she's tired of that, okay? She doesn't want to deal with you. You know why? Because you're a loser. What up, Watch? You know what I'm saying? And that's why. I'm just going to say it. You're a loser, okay? And she don't want to be around you. You know what I mean? She wants to be around men that are moving and grooving, men that are traveling, men that have traveled. You know what I mean? Men that have a passport or trying to get a passport. You know what I mean? They're going to school, they better themselves, they're working out, they're eating right. That's what she want to be around. Greetings to OG Patrice. That's the OG Patrice. I'm cooking right now. You know what I mean? OG Patrice, I just got your email. Much love to you, family. You know I love you. You know what I mean? And listen, OG Patrice going to be on this Sunday. Yeah, I'm cooking. I'm ready.
This
on
Sunday.
God damn it. All right? No,
yeah.
Talk, no chaser with OG Patrice. All right? Y'all tune into that. And I know y'all will because y'all do anyway. So listen, let me finish my point. Anyway, she want to be around a man that has something about himself, that has something going for himself. And you guys don't have nothing going for yourself, but yet you want somebody that looks like a Janet Jackson or Halle Berry or Toni Braxton. It's not going to happen for you, brother. Okay? It's not. You need to put the work in. All right? Stop being lazy. And the Camden Inn, I will send you the link. I got you, sister. I can either email it to you or I can put it in the chat. Let me know which one you prefer. I got you, family.
No, matter Mr. Best, put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the chat.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
You know,
and if these gonna pin it to the chat for you real quick. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, stop being lazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop being lazy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one thing for men. M3 was trying to walk you down. He's trying to be nice with you. He got to say that he's trying to be nice with you. But I'm just straight up gonna tell y'all that's what's wrong with you. That's why you're not getting the results you want. You guys are being lazy, man. You're being lazy. Okay? That's really what it is. That's a lot of men's problem. Y'all lazy. Okay? Women too, but we ain't get to the women yet. But go ahead, M3.
All right. So let's see. So OG Patrice's show will start like at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which I think that's oh no, that's 2. Oh, my bad. That's not 4. Hold on. Let me
No,
correct that.
she starts 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
3 p.m. My bad though. Let me remove that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And OG Patrice will start at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
yeah, man.
Tune in on Sunday for that. I'm go ahead and hide that.
Salute to Daryl Long too, man. God damn, man. I'm here, man.
Hopefully we got the time right, OG.
I got time for that lazy stuff, M3. I'm here, man. I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean?
All right, so look, right? You know, we're always open to bring people up here, right? I will ask most people, right, to cam up like Candy Ann. So salute to you, my sister.
Hold on. Put Candy Ann in the back. I gotta give Candy Ann the right introduction.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna give you the right introduction, Candy Ann. Listen, this is my New York sister. Got a lot of love for her. I'm glad that she's back. I love the background. I love the mic. I see you, sister. I gotta bring up my sister from New York. She's a professional too, okay? Y'all show her respect. She's definitely a lady in this YouTube space, okay? Salute to Mrs. Candy Ann. Bring up M3. You know who he is.
All right, we got this though, you know? Candy Ann, what's up?
What's up? How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well.
All right.
Know,
I just tuned in like about 5 minutes ago, and you was on one M3. You was.
Oh, that was me. That was me.
Both of you guys. But let me tell you. Can I just tell you something? One of the things that as much as I respect you guys' opinions, and you guys have had a variety of different shows on here, one of the things that kind of bothers me about these spaces and about the Black community is that we are so quick to talk about how we fucking up, right? I don't see enough people on here talking about how to get it right, how to dress appropriately. There are not enough videos on here talking about how to shape up your beard. I'm making it up. I don't know, because you've been like
no,
you
on par, Karen. Go ahead.
Right? You know, how to shape up your beard, how to speak correctly, how to dress properly for an interview, how to, present yourself, how to, because we're talking about making the bag, getting the bag and all this kind of stuff. But I don't see enough videos from Black men, because y'all love to tear each other down. We as a community, not just Black men, but Black women also. The weaves, the eyelashes, y'all got the nails, and we go on and on and on about how we fucking up. We fucking up. I hear you. We really fucking up out here. But I need a little bit more content about how we can get it right. How we can think differently, how we can, expand our horizons. Like the whole passport thing, to me, I've had a passport from the time I was a child. I mean, granted, because I'm from the Caribbean, I see men out here like sporting their passport, like y'all just trying to get foreign pussy.
Oh shit!
That's all it really is. You guys are not trying to come out here and really experience a culture, trying to learn a language. And it's unfortunate because, like, my husband asked me how long I had a passport. I'm like, I don't remember not having a passport. I don't remember not having a passport. But these men out here like taking photographs of the passport, like, yeah, right? When all you really want is foreign pussy. At some point, I need both women and men in this community. And I hold myself responsible as well. I'm gonna include myself to continue to make content that really teaches people how to think outside of our community, think outside of the Black conundrum of, oh, we so downtrodden. Like with the invention of the internet, like you have access to, you're no longer blocked. You have access to create and to sell to a huge variety of people. And so I don't know. I feel like, I know we out here, we're trying to figure this thing out, but I want to see us. One of the things that, I'm not a big Kevin Samuels fan, but I did connect with him when it came to him speaking about how to dress appropriately. He, unfortunately for him, he realized that he didn't make any. There was a lot of views. But he talks about dressing appropriately and how your suit. People see you first. Right. And so at some point, I just need us to make content, not you particularly. I'm talking about overall, because I've seen a wide variety of content from this channel. So big ups to you for that. But overall, I think in general, we all have to really talk about how to live outside of our Black experience and live a human experience.
Right. Hold on for 1 second. One says, I would be crazy for saying I'm coming around, and yes, White Lives Matter shirt.
No, to yays.
Oh, to the yays.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, salute to Miss Polly. And honey, I would love to hear why you want to buy that shirt. If you can come up and explain, but I would love it. Salute to Wally as well.
Yeah, and also please come out, folks, too. I would like to see more faces, Let me say this, Candy Ann, right? First of all, thank you for coming to the show, right? And yes, I do agree with you wholeheartedly, right? Which it also bothers me too, that when I go to some of these spaces and all I hear is Black people this, Black people are that. We're all doing wrong as Black folks, right? But I always ask, right? Okay, well, what is the solution? Crickets, silence, right? And then we're going back to the same rhetoric. Now, here's the thing, right? I know we talk about relationships as well, too, right? We're not exempt. But I also make it clear, too, that, look, this is not just a podcast where we're just going to be talking about Black people all day. You know what I mean? Yeah, we are our own people. But, however, there's more to it than just the usual problems of the Black community. There's problems with the Hispanic community. There's problems with the white community. And if I could list them all, I would definitely do that. And actually, it's funny that you said that earlier about us tearing each other down, because actually, Lola, right, one of our very own peeps, is actually making a topic, but the topic is about why we keep inviting people into our problems. Why we keep inviting non-Black folks into our spaces while we're complaining about us. Why can't we just handle the situation?
Look like if they got the answer, they got the answer. Why are we so concerned about what the fuck people look like?
Exactly.
And on top of it, you as a content creator, you said that you're asking the question, what are the solutions? But did you do any research to find the solutions? As a content creator, there's research that you could do, that we all could do. I'm not excluding myself from this. But I understand that you asked the question, but did you do any behind the scenes work to present a solution?
Yeah,
Lola does her research, so she's gonna definitely have a full argument of why she feels like she feels tomorrow.
Be cool,
she does.
M3,
I see she has the shades on. She got the shades on. I'm about to point that out. But hold on, before we continue, Watch, I'm gonna put you in the back because I gotta introduce you. I gotta introduce you, Watch. I gotta do that. I introduce, man, my 757 brother. You know what I'm saying? He keep it 100 because that's what he always do, man. Shout out to my brother, 100 Watts. Watch, what up, baby?
For those who love him, Well, actually, I'm sorry,
man. If Watts was about 100 pounds bigger and a little older, bitch.
Oh, wow.
You know why you said that? Because you think just because I'm skinny, I don't got the... It's okay. Don't worry about it. You sleep on the skinny, man. It's okay.
Yeah, so don't sleep on the skinny now.
The show has turned another way. I see. Okay, here we go.
Oh yeah. Before I even go on, right? Watch, I'm gonna let you take the floor a little bit, man. Before I get into my little rant.
I got you. So, but for clarity, I wasn't saying I was about to go buy this man's shirt. That's not what I was saying at all.
Okay.
What I was what I was the part that I'm coming to is just understanding. I can't really say I understand Kanye's thought process because that nigga different, but he.
It's probably got the out. They look good, girl. You go, hey, girl. I wish I had me some tickle bitties. Damn, girl. I'm sorry. I got a little unfocused. I apologize.
No, you good.
I'm a little ratchet. I'm drinking this wine. Y'all forgive me. I'm not in my normal.
Look at you. You already drunk. It's okay though.
Is Candy and saucy?
Watts, I'm sorry that you got cut off.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Watts. I'm so sorry.
No, we good. It's a good time. But no, so black people, when black people use the term Black Lives Matter, a lot of times the response is, we're talking about the movement, not the organization. Take the emotions out of it. We're talking about something bigger. So then I'm thinking about it on the other side. White lives matter. So if you're a black person thinking about it, white lives matter. And the reason I'm thinking about it in the sense of, the reality is we're in a post Jim Crow, everything is integrated. There is no segregation at this point. Like the reality is there's not some magical land to where all black people are going to just pick up and go to, and we don't have to deal with white people anymore. So the reality is you're going to have to deal with white people at some level, some type of point. Whether you have a regular job, you're an entrepreneur, you're a content creator, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to deal with people of other cultures. And when I listen to some of the more militant pro-black conversations, it sounds a whole lot like black supremacy. So it sounds like the complete opposite of what it is that we've been fighting.
Yeah.
So thinking of it from that perspective, I understand why a black person would stand up and say something, whether you agree with it or not. I understand why they would stand up and say something like that, because there's an extreme that a lot of black people seem to be running to where it seems like black separation is what a lot of people think, or a lot of people go to when you hear pro-black. Like that just seems to be the place that everybody runs to. But there's a middle ground that I'm hoping that we can, as a people, get to understand, because I really feel like that's where the disconnect comes from. Because there's a middle ground. It's not so extreme as in all white people are the devil and they're all out to get you and every white person is racist. Like, it's not that extreme. Like, we need to find that middle ground. And I think that's probably part of the biggest hurdle to come over with something like that. Like, just in general of us trying to come to an understanding. That's what I meant by that.
No, I get your 100 watts, and I appreciate you for sharing that, because here's the thing, right? It just starts off with proper communication. That's it. Everybody got to put their freaking emotions to the side and start using proper common sense. You know what I mean? And actually have respect for other people's cultures. But the problem is that everybody's all into their feelings and they make it about themselves. It's almost to a point that you got to kind of keep in mind, and I hate to kind of say this, but black folks can be racist as well too. Even though I'm not here to talk about black folks like that, but since we're talking about that particular subject, you know, it gets to that point. And then that's why you have some people who probably feel offended would be like, well, my life matters as well too. To me, in my honest opinion, like, it's not a black and white type of world. And people got to stop talking about just white people this and then black people that. You know, there's Polynesians, Haitians, there's all sorts of walks of life that we could talk about. You know what I mean? But not just talk about like we're talking shit about them, but actually we could use the opportunity to learn from them. Miss Polly, it's definitely good to see you.
I'll say this in 3 real quick. And I have a question for Watts, and then Miss Polly definitely will keep chiming in. It's a quick question for Watts. He's probably gonna laugh at me. But I'll say like this. I think the reason why that's still an issue in 3 is because there's still a lot of racial biases and a lot of racial things that happen within our country. You know what I'm saying? And there's things that we are treated different for, that when we look at the other side, they're able to have allowances that we're not. Whether you take the Brett Favre situation, whether you take the Jerry Jones photo situation, which I'll cover tomorrow on Lola's podcast, you can take the Kyrie situation. You can take a whole bunch of situations where when we do something, and LeBron pointed this out in his speech yesterday after the game, after he dropped 31 on the head. Shout out to LeBron. You know what I mean? But my thing is this: when we do something is looked at a certain light, But when they do something, they're given allowances. And I think that's what makes us feel a certain way. You know what I mean? It's not the fact that people don't want equality. People don't want to be with other cultures. Yeah, look, man, if you could have all cultures come together, who wouldn't want that? Like, that means that you have more resources, more money, more power, and more influence to do great things and move in spaces and places that you can kind of just make yourself basically, you know, doing things on a different level. You know what I mean? Outside of your community, beyond your community, in your community overall. You know what I mean? And your life will be ultimately better and you'll have a better quality of life. So who doesn't want that? We all want that. But we all know what's actually going on as well. Man, that's a very interesting comment by Quantum Love. Shout out to her. She said, "Got to be very serpentine to get what Ye does." Ooh, okay. That's heavy right there. And Watch, you could definitely address that. But I got a quick question for you, Watch. It's kind of funny, but I heard Atlanta is Wakanda. That's what I heard, Watch. You in the South, you know. A brother from Alabama I talked to. Shout out to Atlanta Brave. You know what I mean? Our brother Atlanta Brave. He told me that Wakanda is Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So is it really Wakanda? He told me brother was wearing furs. He said throwing around salami and gold chains. Is this really real?
That shit cute. A city that's built on Instagram likes is not about to be my Wakanda. That city is built on showing up for a good time, showing up in your fur and your rented foreign in a hotel that you can't afford for real. Like, that's what that city built on. That's not about to be my Wakanda, because like that's not it. And then on top of that, everybody's going there with all this money, and it's still niggas out there robbing. Like, LA, other than LA, Atlanta is the most dangerous place to be in when you got money. Like, no, that's not my Wakanda, because that's just not about to be it.
Do you want to address the Quantum Love? Not the kid. I guess the quote in her statement.
Well, somebody, okay, I can respond to it as soon as somebody define that word for me. I don't know what that means.
Serpentine is like a snake, or somebody who's they're very.
Okay.
I've heard that as well, Mr. Bell. I think it has a little bit to do with Stone Mountain being a crystal. Okay.
Well, I honestly see a lot of people have ill thoughts of Kanye, and of course he says some off the wall shit. I just think he's one of those people that isn't an effective communicator. Like, he might have a great idea, but then when it starts coming from his brain to his mouth, it starts sounding crazy. Like, the first two lines of whatever idea he has, the first 2 minutes you listen to him, like, okay, I fuck with that. Okay, cool. Then the longer you let him talk, it'll be like, hold on, wait, where did you read that? Hold time out. What the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, in effective communication, even when you disagree with someone, you have to be able to find the points in their conversation. Whether you agree with the points or not, you have to find the points in their conversation. And that's what I do when I listen to Kanye talk. I'm listening to the point that he's trying to make. I'm fuck the messenger. What is the message that's coming here? When Kyrie talks and he had people coming on his head about the anti-Semitic shit, y'all aren't listening to what he's saying. It's just, it's Kyrie. He's a flat earther. He's an anti-vaxxer. So now everybody has this thought process about what he's saying and not listening to what he's saying. I really feel like I feel like there needs to be a way for human beings in general to be able to figure out how to get out of their area. Because think about how many people you grew up with that still live in the same neighborhood they lived in when they were in high school.
And beyond.
So
before that,
when you think about it from that perspective, when most of us, the neighborhoods that most of us came up with, how many Jewish people were in your neighborhood? How many white people were in your neighborhood? How many Asian people were in it? So you don't have the experience to deal with these people. So the only experience you have is the same shit white people do, watching TV and shit on Netflix. So now you have this idea of Asian people because you watch some funny shit on Netflix, and now you think all of them are like M3 said, black people are racist too. You know what I'm saying? And because black people are racist too, you have to be able to hear a phrase like white lives matter and actually break that shit down and understand what the fuck somebody talking about. I think another great example is Kanye's sidekick, is Candace Owens. She be saying some shit that there's no way you're gonna tell me you disagree with what she's saying. But sometimes the word that she uses in a certain place make a motherfucker feel away. So now her whole argument is out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
fact.
Communication is an art form. Communication is an art form, and those that can master it, I admire those individuals, and I like listening to them talk. And the ones that have a problem with it, I like listening to them so I can master my communication skills.
Ooh, watch the cooking, baby, as always.
Oh, I gotta give the air horn for that, man. Matter of fact, I gotta give another air horn. Because he is on fire. And then how do I pronounce it?
That's my homie. Dobie Apparel Media. My homie from Brooklyn. What up, baby?
Hey, what's up?
What up, kid? You know what it is. Luke. Miss Polly, what's going on? Talk to us, family. You're muted.
I'm sorry. I turned the phone the other way and everything's kind of not right. Sorry. How are you?
Are you good?
You're doing good, family.
That's good. That's good. Yes. So I was listening in because I had come in and I wanted to hear the opinions of everyone. Yeah. So I didn't know. Oh, you could revise the topic to make sure. I know he said most people are losers and parasites, but you know, when I came in here, we started talking about a little bit of something different from my perspective. So is that
No, I get you though. I mean, basically overall, right? It's that, like, you know, you got people in this space, okay? People talk about the same rhetoric, but nobody's really talking about anything that's solution-based oriented. Something like what Candace Ann said. I was about to call you Candace Owens, you know, Candace Ann, but you know. But I digress.
Someone told me that, like, let me tell you something. Someone told me that, like, I have a couple of facial features that sort of looks like her. I mean, I don't think so. But was that why you were going to call me Candace Owens?
Y'all favor a little Candace Ann, but not really though.
Oh,
no, because like Candace Owens, Candid, and you know, it was just it was just too candid for me. So
gotcha.
No, but Miss Polly, like, you know, what I start off was like, you know, how pretty much how people can be losers and like parasites, and this goes because I'm equally fair and balanced, right? But of course, when I talk about men and women, this is not just with black men and black women. This is just with all men and women that come to these platforms and they act a certain type of way. How you gonna have the audacity, right, to try to act like you're Superman or Wonder Woman in these platforms, but then outside the real world, like you're like, I was gonna say Marvel, that would be a bad analogy. But outside of that, right, you know, you're way totally different than what you really are. You know what I mean? What up, Lola? How you doing?
Another beautiful lady. I'm so happy that so many beautiful ladies are on here.
Hi.
3 on 3. I love it. I love it. So you're talking about like people like Derek Jackson.
It could be anybody. Like, see, the thing is, I'm not even trying to get to like, you know, public figures. I'm getting to like people like you and I, but you know, but not like per se like you and I, but you know, people like us that come to the spaces talk about like, well, you know, I could get so many bad bitches, you know, in this YouTube space, but then yet you are here trying to learn how to even talk to a woman. You know what I mean? How to even approach them. And you don't even have that game still. Outside of that, you're a loser. Just like the women who thinks that you're more than what you really are, but you still look like Mr. Potato Head. Well, sorry, Mrs. Potato Head or Mrs. Pac-Man.
Can I push just a little bit on the point you just made?
Go ahead.
Can I push just a little bit? There are plenty of men that it's easy for them to get boxed, but they can't keep a woman. Like, you still have to figure out how to commit. Just because you can bust it open don't mean you know how to talk to her. That don't mean you know how to make her want to cook for you. That don't mean that you, just because you know how to bust it wide open and she can do all the freaky nasty stuff for you, but you're not putting her in a position to want to submit to you. So that part still exists. Like, just because you getting boxed don't mean you figured it all out.
Of course, but see, that's the problem though, right? Even if you get the slightest box for your very first time, right? You're thinking that you're the man, the Omega. You know what I mean? The so-called alpha man. Right? So that's why I have a problem. Like when dudes like they just don't keep it really 100% honest. I'm not even gonna use the term "keep it real." Just be honest for once, right? And just say, "Hey, look, I'm in these spaces because I need help. You know, Oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and play the sound effects. You know, I need help. You know, my girlfriend cheated on me. You know, I'm a bum. I have no like job, damn near, and I'm living under my mama's roof. Okay, so I need help.
That's really some music. Yo, you really going big.
Well, I mean, okay, so some of those people I would say, I think a lot of people who started, you know, like you said, you know, 2020 kind of brought a lot of people out to just be out here giving their own opinion about how they felt about their own lives and so forth. And a lot of people, you know, just wanted to be heard. I think that sometimes we forget that people aren't perfect. That makes sense. Like, even, you know, in any journey you have, whatever it is, you're going to mess up and fall. And I think that when we do it publicly, I don't think a lot of people realize that the people who are out there putting themselves out there, Instagram and all that, it's very public. You're putting your life on display. And when you make mistakes, people hold on to those mistakes. You no longer can say, oh, you know, my boyfriend cheated on me. Oh, well, we moved on a year later. There's going to be someone who brings it up because it's very, very public. And I think those people don't realize what it's like to be in a public position. Not just famous position, but a public position. And when you put yourself out there and you get a lot of followers, that your life is now a show. And any mess ups you make, you'll be held accountable for, and you will be looked at a particular way for the rest of your life. It's unfortunate. It just is what it is. That's why some people are very private and some aren't. And then you have the idiots, like you said, who come on here, they talk all their garbage. At the end of the day, they're not doing anything. But it's, to me, I think those kind of people, they're the same as Instagram people who put up pictures of them going on vacation every week, and you know they work at Wendy's. You know, and they're striving to hold a lifestyle that they can't really maintain, but it's just something they want to do to get these likes, to feel important, and validated. So, I mean, the internet validates people. You know, you hear it all the time. Women say they'd rather have Instagram than a boyfriend. I've heard that a couple of times. Validation is, people really seek that out. No matter what it is. Validate that I look big. Validate that I'm not saying anything about the big people movement. I'm plus size. I'm not saying that. I'm saying is that you're validating just yourself as a person. When you get to a place where you don't need someone to validate that you feel good about yourself, you'll be fine.
That's
but
true.
A lot of people aren't there yet.
Unfortunately,
and on that journey, we watch.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, like you said before, like, if I want to add on to it, people are stuck in that Disney lifestyle, and it's a part of the show. So until you get out of that Disney mindset, you're going to be stuck in delusion. Lola, what's up? Good to see you.
Hey.
Looking all professional.
Scully, what up?
She came back. What's your thoughts on this topic?
Okay, so I do believe that, I'm in agreement that there's certain circular conversations going on. And I say circular because like I said to someone earlier, a lot of the things that people are complaining about today are the choices that they made. Like, that's what people are complaining about. Now there's a percentage of people complaining about things they can't control, but let me repeat that. Things you can't control, you're complaining about. The purpose of being an adult and being in things as mature as relationships is that you have tough skin, that you understand what you're in. But a lot of us honestly are physically mature, but not mentally mature. That might have a lot to do with our evolution as a species, a little bit at least. But I'll be honest with you, at this point, it's going to take for at least some part of, social media to push forward and say, you know what, we can talk about relationships, we can talk about how we relate to one another, but we have to push this forward. We can't go in circles. And going in circles isn't necessarily just talking about relationships. It's rehashing things that everyone knows. Like, for instance, men and women are both male and female 304s. Like, men use women, women use men. That's the balance, right? We don't have to keep rehashing.
What you mean we're both whores?
Say again?
You said 304. When you say 304, you say that's code language for whore, right?
Whole, whatever you call it, right?
Whole. So you're saying that
like it's like you got males that act like that, you got females that act like that, and honestly, that's the balance. It's like you can't. It wouldn't be life if it was just females acting like that, right? And the men were so wholesome. That's not reality. Reality is it's balance, you know. Reality is most people spend their lives basically fucking off, and then get to the end and feel like, where's all the wholesome people at to make the rest of my life great? It's like you don't deserve that. 99% of people do not deserve that. They deserve exactly how they've been living their life, and that's not what they expect. But here's the thing: nature doesn't care about what you expect. You just don't. And if you don't understand that, then your life is going to be that much harder. So again, it's like people complaining, but it's like, well, you complaining, but that's why I tend to want to get into people's personal life, and I want to know, what are you doing in your personal life to, make a difference? And I know some people don't like that when I say, well, let me talk about your exes, let me talk about who you're dating right now, let me talk about where you're at, because they feel like they don't have to explain anything to me because this is social media. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the theoretical circles that people are running on right now, because it doesn't serve me at all. Not even in a conversation. I can't gauge the truth if everything's going to be subjective, anecdotal evidence that only you call at a moment. Like this whole thing of 50% of Black men are in the middle class and don't have any kids and making almost six figures. And I'm sitting here like, I've been living around Black people my entire life. And I don't know where you pulled that out of, but it was way up your ass. So no. But here's the thing: the reality I live in is that a good number of men have children, just like a good number of women have children. When you're a single parent, you move different. You can't move like you don't have kids. That's the reality. If you want to live like a single person that don't have any children, your children will suffer behind that, and nature says they should suffer. Like, it's unfortunate, but nature says when a parent makes irresponsible decisions, the children will suffer. And look at the animal kingdom. If a mother cheetah, right, leaves her cubs like 5 minutes too long, we all know what happens. We know what happens, and that's nature. Nature is not evil. That's what happens. So it's like, come on, like at the end of the day, right? You're going to go through things, right? And the best thing you can do is to set yourself up right. Now, granted, there's going to be problems. You should expect that. But that's why you learn quick and you move forward. I know for me, I like to talk about solutions, right? But like you said, Ms. Cannon, like earlier, because I tuned in real quick while I was on the highway, Mr. 84. I just heard her say,
I'm coming. I'm here.
I just heard her say about, well, as far as like what like the conversation of what you're doing, it's like, well, okay, let's talk about what's right? Let's talk about what's right. Let's talk about what we want right. Let's talk about the how do we get where we want to go at, right? And those conversations are important, because I heard someone say, well, we have to, change the culture, right? And the question now is, well, how do you change a culture of people that have different cultures, that have different religions, different viewpoints, different class, they come from different economic backgrounds? How do you change that universally? That's the question. And I think, as much as people don't want to admit it, right, these online conversations are changing the culture, but it's not changing it fast enough for some people. And I told I was on the other podcast the other day, and I made it clear to a young lady, me and you will not see the day for what we're talking about. And just like my great-great-grandparents was dying to get freedom that they would never see so I could do it, that's exactly what's going to happen now. And you have to be okay with that. Like, you have to be okay with that. So, I'm good. But one thing I'm not going to do is waste my time talking about stuff that is clearly evident that people are walking into for different reasons, but then wanting to complain when they don't get what they want out of it. For instance, if a girl tells you that you need to level up on her level, right? And if you're not and proving yourself, you ain't good enough for her. Meanwhile, you look in the background of her life, you see she basically raggedy as hell. This is a female you probably don't want to put your penis in. You just don't want to put your penis in that one. You understand? Just don't do it because you might be stuck with it.
They say that crazy wop be good as girl. They say that crazy ass wop be good AF.
Drop a bomb
Right,
on
that crazy
one,
pussy be good.
Right.
Yeah,
Crazy pussy be the best.
All right, but here's the thing, right? Look, and look. I'm not even.
Oh, take my glasses off.
I'm not even gonna get into the whole crazy box and all that. But let me just say this, right? This is the problem that we have to deal with. Because I'm gonna push you forward, Lola. I'm not gonna give you pushback. I'm gonna push forward, right? I stole that from somebody, but I forget who. Whoever said push forward, whoever you are, whoever created that, much love to you. You know what I'm saying? OG Patrice is in the building. OG Patrice in the building. I want to keep talking about OG Patrice in the building. So I'm gonna make my point for OG Patrice in the building. So, man, all right, listen.
Yeah.
This is the problem that we deal with, right? And when it comes to romance, we deal with desire, right? Which is our basic want for physical, attention, for intimacy, things of that nature, right? So we're dealing with that, especially once you cross the threshold on certain things with intimacy, right? Once you're intimate with somebody, you'll never be the same. We know that already, right? Because now all these hormones are released, your body chemistry changes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can get into the biology and everything else of that in a different time. All right, so just follow me. I'm making this quick. So that's that. So you have that desire, right? But then you have also the need to be in a functional relationship, right? So you have these two things that are battling with each other, that are completely opposed, and you're trying to unite them and actually be with somebody who you can actually be functional and have a healthy relationship with. Okay, and that takes time, that takes effort, that takes you working on yourself as well as making sure they're working on themselves and making themselves better. You know what I mean? It's a dual thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes with those things, those wires get crossed. Okay, so sometimes yes, you're getting your desires and needs met on one end, but that person is fucked up and they're not going to help you to achieve or grow in any other area, right? Or sometimes they're what you need, but you're not attracted to them. All right, there's no attraction level there. You don't want to be intimate with them. They don't like your fire. You don't want nothing to do with them. Not on that level, but they're great for you as far as the person that they are. So now you got to find a balance and find a person that meets both of them. And that's hard to do because nobody's perfect, including ourselves, and we understand that. So now we got to find a happy medium with somebody who has shortcomings, just like we do, in order to make, our lives better and their lives better and actually have a functional family home, with kids and everything else, and with our parents and everybody else, and with our family and their family. And that's hard to do. As far as, moving the culture forward and doing things better and being solution oriented, yes, there are a lot of aspects that we have to basically get into a channel. There's political, social, economic, you know what I'm saying? Grassroots, which is, day-to-day people and things of that nature. So we have to tackle all these issues and we cannot waver from any of them. Okay, we got to stop being lazy. That's a big part of it. You cannot just pick and choose which one. We don't have the space to do that. All right. We don't really own anything. Our wealth is 0% when it comes to really wealth, or less than 1%. So that's a problem. And we don't have the tools in order to put ourselves politically and socially in spaces and places where we can really make changes within this country. All right. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about within this country. Okay. If you live internationally, you have your own issues. Okay. But in this country, you have to have certain things rolling in your favor. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to politics or socialism. And if you don't have those things, you don't have that backing, you will not go far. And we know that. We've seen it. We've seen people die, trying to do certain things. All right? And Lola, yes, you may be right. It may not happen in your lifetime, but due to technology, it might happen in your lifetime. It might happen in your lifetime. The thing that you're pushing for, it might because we have technology. So that gives you that gives you a step or two or three or four ahead of our ancestors because we got technology now. So that changes everything. Okay. You know what I mean? That changes everything.
Oh,
you ain't to connect with somebody who lives in Texas while you still live in Baltimore. You feel what I'm saying? That changes everything. That allows us to be able to reach plateaus that we weren't able to reach before. Before I continue, I gotta let OG Patrice in. I gotta let her rush. She is the OG of the group. OG Patrice, salute to you. How you doing, family?
Hey, how's everybody doing? What's going on, family?
Hey, OG Patrice.
Hey.
Is everybody doing well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see you.
Awesome. Salute to
Okay.
the I'm good. Thank you for asking. I just been listening, a little bit in the background, letting you guys rock. Y'all rocking up here, I'll tell you that. But I agree, with a lot of you guys' talking points. I think, though, like our main thing in our community, and I'm speaking specifically of Black men and women, we have to realize that we need to heal. We need to heal. Black people need healing. Black people got so much going through so much and got so much issues, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. We're not getting the help that we need for ourselves. And we go into these relationships broken. We go into them bruised, jaded, bitter, angry, with all these different things, right? And we carry this into the next relationship without getting the help that we need to heal first. And we jump in head first, and then we hurt other people because we're hurting, right? Whether it be intentional or unintentional, with you know what I mean. And at some point we got to stop even saying hurt people. We got to stop using that as an excuse as well, right? Because we know that that's factual, but how long are we going to keep saying and making it an excuse that hurt people? All right, then, goddamn it, hurt people, do something about your hurt. Because we can't keep using that as an excuse for people walking over people, mistreating people, abusing people. And it was, oh, well, he's hurt himself and I'm sorry. At what point are we going to stop making excuses for the behavior of a lot of our Black men and women out here? And that's the main thing. I think until we do that self-inventory and do the self-healing, get therapy, get counseling, whatever it needs to be for you to be a better you, how in the hell you going to be a better you for somebody else? You don't even trust your damn self. You are unpredictable. You are disrespectful. You are untruthful. You are deceitful. You are a liar. You're a cheater. You're a lot of things. And you are that, but you don't want to deal with that. And then you go into a relationship and you do it to other people. And then we supposed to, and well, he or she is hurting, how hurt people. Bullshit. It's time for us to call each other out on our bullshit and tell us to go get that healing. Go get that healing, brother. Go get that healing, sister. Before you get in that next relationship and cause damage or wreak havoc on that another person, and you actually and you're capable of that thin line between love and hate. You're capable of turning a good person into a bad person. And then they become angry and bitter and jaded. And it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
We gotta admit that we need to heal. We need to seek help. We got shit issues. I'm gonna leave it there for that's all I want to say for now. But that's the main
I got a question.
I'm experiencing from these YouTube streets until out here in this real life streets. Like, this shit is real.
OG,
it's a lot of damaged people on YouTube. It's a lot of damaged people in real life in these real streets, for real.
OG, I got a question. OG, I got a question. Right? Okay, here's my question. Now, I agree with everything you're saying, right? So I was talking to a family member early on, right? He was telling me about, his dealings with women or whatever, right? And my thing is this, right? Is it the fact that, people are having a lot of dealings with people, or is it the fact that we don't know how to have dealings with other people? Because here's the thing. Back in the day, I felt like when I looked at like my grandfather's generation, right? I felt like they knew how to move, right? I feel like they didn't put every woman in the same space as a wife or certain things of that nature. That woman had her place. She understood her place, and that place was understood. Do you think because the natural fact is people are gonna see other people most of the time. Most people are gonna see other people outside a relationship, or even if they even have a relationship or even trying to pursue one. A lot of times people do that. So is it the fact that we just don't know how to move, or is it because I see it just happens. Even with the people that we hold in the highest esteem, people that we respect the most, we look at it like, oh snap, I know Uncle Ruckus had another girl, like, you know what I mean? I'm just using Ruckus as an example, but I didn't know he had another girl. Like, yo, who was that? He had another child by this person. Like, is it the fact that we just don't know how to move, or is it the fact that we just doing things out of order? Like, cause like when I said, when I look at the people from the old school, it seemed like they had order in what they did. I could be wrong though, but I'm just asking.
I get your point in what you're saying about that. When I look back on like my mother's generation, you know, there was like, uncles. I remember uncle having his main wife at home, and then had a whole another family in another state, right? And I don't know if my auntie knew about it and shit like that, right? Like, but it was like kept on the low, you know, for a long time. And it is situations like that. And then a couple of my uncles had 2 women pregnant at the same time, lived down the street from each other. So shit still happened in our community, but it was just a different way that it was handled and dealt with. But then again, there was some havoc-y, you know, there was some disparaging things that came from that as well. It's not as prudent and as it is now and open because of social media and things like that. But back then, that shit happened back then too. You know, it was, I'd seen my 2 women fight over my uncle. You know, I done seen, a bunch of destruction happen when, the wife finds out about the mistress, or the mistress call the wife house and expose it. Oh yeah, that shit happened back then too. You know, it just wasn't out in the open as it is now because of social media and modern technology the way it is now, you know, and you're right. It was a little difference, not much, but a little difference in the way the men moved. It was a little difference in the way the women moved and handled themselves as women too, back then, as opposed to how they do it now. You know, so if that makes sense to answer that question, I think that it's a little bit of both. You know, it's just different now. You know, the younger generation, just because of social media and reality TV, you know, they the first thing they do is run on social media to expose their boyfriend, to expose their girl, to expose whatever. That's the first thing they do. But it's the same havoc reach.
I think in listening to what OG Patrice said, like when you first came in, and based on Mr. Best's question, I really feel like what we're seeing happen more often now, of course, due to social media and the internet and everything like that. I feel like a lot of people are, and I think it ties into the conversation we're having today. I feel like a lot of people attribute taking a loss to being a loser. I feel like a lot of people see anything that's not a win setting you up to be a loser for the rest of the world. Like the moment you don't have those vacation pictures to go on Instagram, you're a brokey. The moment that your girl goes on Instagram and she's out at girls' night, oh, you smashing a hoe. Like it's a lot of people just have this idea that as soon as you take a L, you're a loser, right? But the moment that if y'all could find anyone who's lived a perfect life, please let me have a conversation with them so I can figure out how they did that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no one on this planet that's going to have a life without taking L's. And I feel like that's the one thing that's one of those things that we need to get a hold of. It's like you're gonna have to fall back. You're gonna get your heart broke. You're gonna lose some money. You're gonna get fired from a job. You're probably gonna fail a test or something like that. Like those things are gonna happen, but that doesn't make you a loser. What makes you a loser is the fact that you failed the test and went home and cried about it and didn't study more. That's what makes you a loser. The fact that you got broken up with and didn't do the work to figure out why she broke up with you. That's what makes you a loser. The fact that you know that you're coming off brash to people when you talk to them, and you're not trying to figure out a better way to have effective communication. That's what makes you a loser. The fact that these things happen, it's cool. It happens. Just remember that it's going to happen. Even when you're in a role and everything's going good and you done hit the lottery and your business is growing and you done 10x'd everything, one day you're going to wake up and your bank account is going to go backwards. One day you're going to wake up and your sales are going to drop. One day you're going to wake up and your girl is going to look at you and be like, you know what? I really don't feel like being around you today. I need some space. Like, those things are going to happen. That's not what makes you a loser. What makes you a loser is what you do after the L comes to you.
I like that. I really do like that. And I had to learn that too. I felt like I kept taking L's, but when I really looked over my life, I realized that I was really learning lessons that, you know, I needed to learn. And one of the biggest lessons I learned after so many things that I went through is not to take breakups personally. Like, I think people like myself, they take breakups too personal. It's like, if you get cheated on, right, can you imagine that the reason you got cheated on has nothing to do with you, and it shouldn't affect you in terms of, you know, you feeling like, okay, there's something wrong with you, or you could have done better, or that person is the worst person in the world. The human mind is deeper than the universe itself, and to understand why everybody does everything, it's like, it's too much. But I feel like if their needs aren't being met in a relationship, and I'm not talking about just physical needs, I mean as in psychological needs, and you're not equipped for that circumstance, then it's going to meet the same ending as everybody else's relationship. And you can't be upset at that, because ultimately, if you can't meet the challenge, it's just going to challenge you. So, you know, because I was in a relationship where somebody had post-traumatic stress. They was a veteran, and I couldn't really deal with the level of post-traumatic stress that they had, because it was dangerous for me, and I'm just not cut from that cloth. So when that relationship dissolved, I learned not to take that personal, because I still have that person on my phone. I still hit them up sometimes on holidays just to say hi. But at the end of the day, like, that wasn't for me, because that's just wasn't my lane. And we get in relationships like that to really realize what our lane is. So I even with my last relationship that kind of dissolved really bad in terms of physically what happened immediately, but what I learned is that space that person occupied, I was no longer a part of. Like, energetically, I was no longer a part of it. So me being with that person, it just kept calling clash, not because we were clashing per se, but just energies were moving. So therefore, when it dissolved, it's like, okay, I felt like, well, damn, I really want a relationship to last. But let me tell you something, whatever you call it, the universe, God, or whatever, it has other lessons for me other than, okay, just get with somebody. Like, there's some lessons you learn through lovers that you need to learn about other things other than love. Sometimes, for instance, like, if you with somebody, and let's suppose something traumatic happens to them, right? The lesson might be for you, can you change what you desire? That might be the lesson for you. Or the lesson for you could be, you know, can you accept something that is really gruesome because you know what you got in your closet? Like, it depends on your life. And, you know, my thing is, there was a burden that was lifted off of me when I stopped taking things so personal, because I've been ghosted on a date before. I have. Like, I meet somebody, you know, we're gonna go to the date, I show up, they never show up. That's happened to me. But it's like, yes, it's frustrating, because obviously I didn't want to be out there by myself. But at the end of the day, that person has issues that I can't address. So if they don't show up, it's a good thing, because now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Same thing when people burn you with money. There's no need to get mad. Just know from now on, you don't have to worry about them asking you for no more money. That's how I look at it.
Wait, OG, Patrice, I do have a question I gotta ask Ocean, right?
Hold on, M3. Hold on, one second. Just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant, I see you. Vouaghn Bryant. You know what I mean? Shout out to him.
She's a fun Bryant.
And real quick, I just want to acknowledge a comment real quick by Adobe Paris. A lot of us never seen love, no respect, so we couldn't show it. I feel you, brother. Definitely feel you on that one.
That's
go ahead,
true.
M3.
Yeah.
I just want to say right quick to Miss O'Shawn that I agree with the part of, when a relationship don't work and you shouldn't focus on if you was not at fault of the relationship ending, that it was issues the other person had, that we have to stop like blaming ourselves or thinking something was wrong with us or something because it didn't. I think a lot of times that happens when the relationship ends because of the person was cheating or because of the person was just like you said, it was issues that you just couldn't deal with, with that person, that we should not look at it as a reflection on us. You know what I mean? As to not, the other person who had the faults and the flaws that caused the relationship to dissolve. We do still tend to like look at ourselves and blame ourselves and say, "Why it didn't work and what was wrong with me?" And and it don't be you, it be them. They the ones with the issue and the problem that caused the relationship to dissolve. But we tend to do that.
I don't know if that's always true.
But that also leads to my question that I was going to ask like Lola, because the thing is like, well, two questions. Like,
Queen,
okay.
we're gonna get you 1 second, Queen. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, I didn't forget about you, Queen, and salutes to you as well. Let me get the questions out the way first, though, so I don't so we don't jump over it. Well, one, right, Lola, which is surprise. Sometimes it's surprising to hear like women saying they get ghosted, which is a reminder that women does get ghosted, not just only men specifically. But has this happened to you like more than once? Mm-hmm. That was the first. Okay, more than once. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, second, right? Like, okay, what made like okay? Did you reach out to? Well, did you guys connect like via internet, like social media, or was it in person at first?
Some years ago, it was in person. The internet wasn't popping off like that. And then recently it was someone that I had met online, and we were in, connection. It wasn't like, it was a long distance circumstance. We were in the same city. So, that happened. But I mean, it wasn't like, when it happened, I called them and, cursed them out or anything. I just realized, okay, that's not the type of person I want to be serious with. And right now I'm not looking to play around. So, that was it. I wasn't mad or anything. Cause I mean, who knows, that person probably, they probably have some other mental circumstances going on that, I mean, it's just not for me to address. Like, it's like if you want to go out with someone, right, and you make plans and then suddenly you don't show up and you get cold feet. People could get cold feet for literally one of a trillion different reasons. So I'm not going to rack my brain about, well, why did you say you was going to meet me someplace and then you didn't show up? Maybe they felt like they're not ready right now. Maybe they have issues from their parents abusing them and they're trying to circumvent that issue. But it's like, maybe I look like their mother and their mother, I don't know, did something crazy to them. Whatever. But it's not always me. It's not always you. Sometimes it is us, right? Sometimes we are the problem in our relationships and we need to really comb through that. But at other times, it's like sometimes when things just don't work out, just don't take it too personal. Like, especially if you did everything right, just understand people got bigger issues than are they going to be in or out of a relationship. Like,
exactly.
It's better going that on.
Part. That's true.
Okay. I'll leave that be for now. I do have to get to Queen. Kenny, I know you wanted to say something. I'll get to you after Queen, okay? Queen, what's up?
What's up?
All right. So most people are losers and parasites.
Huh?
I said most people are losers and parasites.
Yes, they are. I agree. I concur.
Name a moment of time, right? You just met a whole bunch of losers. Vampire, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Leeches. That's what I call them.
Suck the blood out of you.
Yeah. and most of the people now these days, right? Sometimes they be like in the YouTube spaces. and you know they kind of create their own persona. That's what some of the things we was talking about. But we was also talking about a variety of other like topics too. I mean, besides people that's like ghosting, not keeping it real, women thinking that they're highly more than what they really not, but no one really likes them in reality. While meanwhile, men are just too passive aggressive, but then yet they want to play the macho man role. But when their feelings are hurt, hold on, let me say this again. When their feelings are hurt, okay, then they want to block you off of Instagram. Then they want to talk shit on another platform.
Talk about it.
Or you know what? They'll just stalk you, knowing that that you're watching them, but they don't want to say anything. So they just want to like just pussyfoot around. So yeah. The nature of YouTube men.
I mean, but it's easy though. It's easy for YouTube people to parade around like that because you don't get to see them in real life. You get to see them, like in their persona, which is fine. It's entertaining. But at the end of the day, right?
YouTube is the modern day Sims.
The modern day Sims?
Yeah. Video game Sims. That's all YouTube is now.
Wow. Okay. I'll take that.
It's all good. Is that Adrian Nash in the chat? What's up, Adrian?
Hey, what's going on, Adrian Nash? What's going on, family?
Yeah.
But yeah, most people are.
I'm just saying, like a lot of people think they are more than what they are in terms of relationship value. And I'm not saying that they're narcissists or anything like that. I'm just saying a lot of people don't see themselves clearly because they're in themselves. And they may get online and kind of portray themselves to be one way, and behind closed doors when you is something else. I don't always feel like because they're evil people. It's just they're just not in a position to really see themselves, especially some of these people that's been single for 5 and 6 years. Like, yeah, like
Lola.
You don't know how you are anymore after 5 years. You're a different person, honestly. So
the problem is they close a lot of these state mental health facilities. They let them out on the street and they don't mandate medication. That's the problem. And now they got internet and a computer and a free government phone, and they wilding out here. That's the problem. The mental health facilities have closed, and now they are on YouTube.
They don't have no more beds left at the local spot up there. They don't have no more beds left.
They don't mandate that medication. I'm telling you.
But you know what? I'm be honest with you. I think sex will help some of these people though. I do. I know we shouldn't be promoting, stuff like that. But honestly, at this point, I'm like, you know what? Somebody please give these pastors boys. I feel like a little more sex will help a lot of people, and I know we don't want that. And I think sex will help a lot of people.
No, that just makes
them to
worse
sleep
because they got some.
You gotta put them to sleep a little bit.
Nah. There ain't no such thing as that. That's like giving a kid a.
You talking about the good ones. You talking
about like handing a kid who's having a temper tantrum what they had a temper tantrum for. They're not gonna stop having the temper tantrum. It's just gonna grow worse.
Lord have mercy.
You don't do that.
But what about the 50 Cent song where it says like lollipop?
No, it ain't never worked. It will never work, and that's ludicrous. It will just make them worse, monstrous.
Because they're not working on the inside. I get what you're saying.
We have the Me Too movement and all this other stuff is because these people just got some booty and they just handed them something because they didn't know how to act right, and now they think that they can conquer the world.
It's a little Grizzly Bird production.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree. I agree with you.
Hold on, Lola Queen. Hold on, Lola Queen. Hold on.
I gotta get the salute.
We gotta get the candid in. Grizzly Bear.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's so many thoughts that I've had. Like I can't even think about where I want to start. Like some of y'all need to bust a nut. Like,
wait a second.
Some of you guys need to bust a nut. Calm the fuck down and bust a nut. Like
basically,
what are we really acting as if we're not animals? Like we
Right.
are physiologically animals. Like just like food, air, water, sex is something that is a basic physiological function that some of us need. Now, I'm not out here telling you to be reckless and stuff like that, but like it's a physiological need. Right. The other thing that I don't remember, there was so many thoughts that I had, but one of them was, oftentimes I think in this Black community, we're too caught up on the Blackness and we're not focused on the money. Right. Every single person on here has problems. A straight white man has problems. A gay white man has problems. A lesbian or whatever. Life is suffering. My suffering might look a little different than yours, but we're all out here trying to figure it the fuck out. Right. So I think we need to stop focusing on this Black experience, and focus on really and stop trying to focus on calling each other out. Like, I think one of the things that we as a Black community love to do is point the finger and call each other out. And we really need to focus on self-development, self-actualization, and fixing the problems within ourselves that we have, and just being a better person. We're so quick to throw the Bible at people, to like quote these damn scriptures and all this other nonsense, but we don't do the work on ourselves. Right. So that's one of the things that I feel like doesn't help us. It really doesn't help us. This harsh talk that oftentimes I hear, we don't sit down and say, you know what, brother, like, you all right? I've been noticing some things about X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Like, I hear you. I've been through that too. We're so quick to want to blast each other, and it's just not helping us. It's
you're right.
not helping us. So
it's turning into physical problems too. Yeah.
Kenny, you mind if I reply to you real quick?
Of course, go right ahead.
About when it comes to getting a bag. Here's the thing, right, Kenny, right? Whenever we talk about, I even made a live stream, right? A few live streams. One of the live streams I made was talking about like investing in rental property, okay? How to become an owner or something. And one of our other future topics that we want to talk about is like how to get the bag, through real estate or some other type of means. A lot of people, when you start talking about like stuff that's productive, people go to sleep. People don't show up when it comes like to the good stuff that you share. But the moment you start getting a little creative and you're like, you know what? Let me create some fake beef or whatever, and maybe some vegetables to the side. Then people want to start rolling in, when they see arguments. And so the thing is, even though I do agree with you, but here's the issue, right? The issue lies on the people who are supposedly supporting you. If they're supporting you only when you're talking about a bunch of garbage, you're going to feel the need that you have to keep pushing out garbage if you're not really true to yourself, okay? But if you find people, right, that are like-minded and actually want to help make a change, you'll have people sharing, supporting, donating, donations, like, Umar Johnson. You'll have people that do whatever it takes, right, to make these communities grow in economic funds and all that. There's so much talent and skill that we have that if we just come together for once, okay, we could really shake shit up and make shit happen.
But them three,
nobody will do that.
You know what? That's a difficulty. And watch, I'm gonna throw you the ball right after I'm done. I'm gonna be real quick.
No, I'm done. That's why I said nobody don't want to do it.
The thing is that, like, yes, a lot of times people tune into low vibrational conversations. I get it. I'm not taking away from that point. But sometimes when you want to have those high vibrational conversations, sometimes you're going over their head. Like, and it's not the fact that they shouldn't do the work and they shouldn't level up. Yes, they should, right? But sometimes we're going over people's heads. Sometimes they're not even ready for that. I had a grown man hit me up, a grown man around my age, if not older, hit me up, and he didn't know how to get started in a career field, which I thought was just easy to get started in. I thought it was like, yo, you know this, you do that. He didn't even know how to do it. He had to ask me point by point how to get into a career field. And I had to give him step by step. You know what I mean? This is a grown man. So sometimes people don't even know how to do the most basic things that we find basic. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't even know that they need to be on a job for more than just 2 months. That you need to be on a job for at least a year. You know what I mean? Or try to be on a job for a year. 6 months, is good too. But a year is way better. That way you can put on your resume and they can see that you've been in a place of employment for a good duration of time. Most people don't even know that. They don't know these things. So hold on, Kenny, because I gotta get the watch because I know he was next. So that's all I want to say. Sometimes we gotta meet them at the bare minimum. Salute to Melanated Lux. Good to see you, sister. Shout out to your family. Go ahead, Watts.
Salute, sis.
I think that what we also need to be aware of is making sure our expectations are tailored to what we're doing. Because as content creators, you have to understand that you are your content. So if you notice that the people that are in your community show up when ratchet shit is happening, that means that you are putting out ratchet ass content. If people show up when you're talking about something that is productive and something that is helping them, then that means that you're putting out productive content. An example of that. I have a podcast that I listen to, Social Proof Podcast. I listen to this at work on a regular basis. And these guys talk about marketing businesses, how to start a business, how to scale it. They talk about so many different business things. But I promise you, the day that I go into that podcast and they start talking to me about how to love your wife, I am not tuning into that bullshit because I didn't come here for that. That's not what I came to you for. You serve a purpose for me.
Right.
This and Mr. Best is a big LA Lakers fan. I'm 100% sure you would have no problem going to LeBron to say, teach me how to shoot a jump shot. But I hope you're not going to LeBron James to ask him how to run a post route. You see what I'm saying? Like as content creators, you are your content. And that is simply that. So if you feel like you want people to show up, to be around for more of that, let me help you build your business and let me bring some income to your family. Start doing that more than the other bullshit you're doing. Either that or make another page and separate the two. Because the reality is in YouTubing, it's all about marketing. If you want to get those numbers, it's about marketing, putting it in the right place and all this other kind of stuff. You can't have one page and you got 4 videos in a row talking about basketball, and then the next video behind it is about how to set up a computer. Those people, what are we doing? What are we doing? You can't just throw a bunch of shit at the wall and be mad nothing. Like the people aren't coming to you for what you like. You have to understand what you're doing. Your content is who you are.
You know, sometimes I don't even know like, where we fit in. Yeah. I was saying sometimes I don't even know.
You said where we fit in?
Yeah, seriously. I don't even know where we fit in sometimes because, our baseline is relationships, but then we talk a lot of other shit too, though. You know what I mean?
Sometimes. Can't next show.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Well, that's okay. I think I absolutely love what 100 Watts has to say. And in addition to what he has to say, just to add on to it, I think also the platform matters. So I think that here on YouTube, at least in the Black space, from what I've observed so far, and I could be 100% right, because I'm certainly no marketing genius or anything like that, but I feel like this particular space, Black YouTube, if there is such a thing, it garners this sort of Fight Club, watching each other tear each other down. But those people that are into podcasts and that are into like actually listening, when you move that to a podcast, whether that is on iPod or whatever it is that you use, those people are attuned to getting information and implementing that knowledge. They don't need to see the Fight Club. They don't need to see the going back and forth and stuff like that. So I think a little bit of an element to that is understanding the platform that you're on.
Yeah.
Facts. And most of those people, like I told you, most of those people probably not going to be our audience anyway. Most of them are probably parasites and they're low level vibrational. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them.
About that, I'm glad that you said that.
You talking about in response?
But hold on, Kendra. Hold on 1 second. And here's the thing, right? And this is a push forward to what Watts said. I'm not disagreeing with what Watts said, but this is my push forward to that. I think that you do need to have different topics and different things you're talking about on your channel. You know what I mean? I do think you need to do that, but the thing is that you can't expect the same reaction from each video. Some things are just some people are gonna be more attuned to certain things than others, right? That don't mean you don't have to be versatile. You can still be versatile. Just understand that some things, and you may not go viral with something until a year from now. You never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So you have to put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, another thing, you can just start a different channel and have that channel focus on one thing. That's another thing. Or you can just have it where your channel has different days for different topics. You know what I'm saying? You got one channel and each day has a different topic. And everybody know what time that's coming on. Everybody know what time it's going to be on and things of that nature. Or you can just kind of make it, you can kind of, flip it around and just make it like fun and make it adventurous so people don't really kind of know what you're going to talk about. They just know that you're coming, like the Black Files. They know we coming. They don't know what we talking about. And we keep it that way because we want to spark intrigue. It's done on purpose. So yeah.
Well, it's the best. That's why we have categories, right? In every different series, there's always something. We have the ladies' night. Of course, we cross over. In other platforms, the Black Files, like you mentioned, the M3s, like gaming with M3. You know what I mean? And other shit that we just put out, and then also like the Chronicles of Lola and OG Patrice show. Like I said, the list goes on, but it is good to be very versatile in anything that you do. But if you're going to do something, make sure that you have categories and series, so that way, whatever people want to watch, they know that, okay, at this date, you're going to have some new stuff. At that date, you're going to talk about relationship. At that date, you're going to be talking shit about losers and other fucking bums and parasites. Okay, so I gotta plug that in, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so can I respond to that a little bit if it's okay?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
this is the thing that I'm right now. I'm personally internally struggling because the candid in me is struggling with the trying to be respectful, right?
Then bust it loose. Let it out.
Bust it loose. Okay.
No.
Some of you YouTubers are dry as fuck. Dry as fuck. So when you guys come on here and you guys want to present content that is about financial stuff, about real estate, about crypto, whatever, y'all dry as fuck. You forget that you still should be entertaining. Why are we losing the jokes? Why are we losing the little sexual innuendos, the stuff that makes it funny, the whatever it is that draws people into understand that you're still a real person, that you still got jokes, and you're still even though I'm married, right? If you notice, I come on here and I got jokes. I got jokes for days. I'm like, y'all, if you was 100 pounds and you was younger son, I'm telling you, I got jokes, right? I'm happily married, but that's still a bit of entertainment. And I feel like when people come on here talk about crypto, talk about money, it's like you guys are like, what. It's just so fucking boring. I don't understand why we can't still be entertaining while still educating.
Exactly.
We will lose the audience a little bit because we can't integrate those two sometimes.
I like that idea.
Salute to Lady Phoenix. I see you in the building. But what Candid, what you're talking about is personality. It's called personality. Like a lot of people don't have personality. So a lot of them when they get on here, they don't know who they are. They don't like themselves, and they're using this as something to try to bolster who they already are. Me in my real life, I'm already who I am. I believe I'm cool already how I am. I believe I'm great however I am. I've already accomplished a lot of things already personally. So I'm good. I've traveled different places. I've traveled to a lot of states. I'm good. I don't have to, boast up myself online. I don't even show my face. It ain't even a big deal for me. I do this for fun. You know what I mean? The step back I shoot is for fun. It's not even for real. You know what I mean? I still make the shot. So it is what it is. But that's just what it is for me. It's cake for me. You know what I mean? But some people, they don't have the personality. I know somebody was about to talk. I don't know if it was OG. I don't know who.
OG Patrice.
Yeah, I understand about like a big personality, right? I'm not so sold on the entertainment part, right? Because when are black people gonna be serious about something? And if you are talking about trying to get the bag and on a business tip, then I think you should be business minded and have a business mindset and be serious about wanting to see yourself and your people come up, right? So I believe that there's a time to entertain, and that's why we're not taken seriously from other cultures, is because they know we good at entertaining. Black folk good at entertaining. We good at that shit. But we ain't good at nothing else. So I don't necessarily buy into the entertainment part because I know when I listen to business podcasts about starting business, I want to take the person serious. I want that the person is certified, knowing what they're saying. I ain't there for entertainment. I'm there to learn business. If I want to be entertained, then I come to this sector of YouTube, right? And that person can have a big personality and can crack a joke or something in between or whatever. But like, I'm talking on a straight business tip. If I'm trying to learn and grow and get the bag, I'm not coming to your channel to be entertained. I'm coming to learn. Mm-hmm. Now, when I want to be entertained, then I'll come to the channels that entertain. But see, that's the problem, because we as black people, we love entertaining folks. We love it. And white people know it. That's why they hire us to entertain them. So I don't necessarily buy into if I'm going to a business class to learn how to start a business or entrepreneurship class, ain't nobody in there entertaining me. They getting down to business. I'm in business meetings all the time. You know what I mean? And they may laugh or joke or keep it, but when it comes out of that business, they're about that business.
Okay, but YouTube is not a business class.
Hold on, Candy. Hold on 1 second.
No,
hold on.
I'm speaking.
Hold on, OG. Hold on, OG. M3, clip what OG just said, please. 1 hour. 36
well, I think 1 hour. 36 minutes.
37 to 36 minutes. Please clip that, please. And salute to Sir Hell Speak. Sir Hell, what up, man? What's going on?
Sir Hell, salute to you, fam. Kenny, you go first, and then once I know you want to say something. Kenny, I'm gonna give you a chance to kind of rebuttal if you need to.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, while I understand the heart of where Miss OG is coming from, when I'm here for business, I'm talking business, but I'm talking about this YouTube platform, right? This YouTube platform is an edutainment platform. So I'm on here. I didn't put this wig on, this fucking lipstick on, this highlight on, these goddamn awesome cheekbones I got, just to sit here and talk about why business is really important and blah, 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 blah. There's an aspect, like even people that come on national television, they dress in a suit, they speak a certain way because they want to convey information to you in a particular way. Right? They tell jokes. Like I'm not talking about CNN. I'm talking about YouTube. And there's an aspect of YouTube in which people want to be edutained. So listen, everything isn't for everyone. We all, get information in a different way. And I 100% respect the fact that when I want education, I don't want to hear the jokes and whatever. For me, I feel like people are relatable, and it makes me, like, taking the lead attorney, for instance. This man is a 20-year attorney, right? He comes on there and he's super relatable. And he's going to talk about the legalities of the court system, about child support. He's going to talk about he's going to make jokes. He's going to tell you a story. He's super relatable, but you're still going to get that information. I'm not talking about a classroom environment. I'm not talking about signing up at the local community college for I'm talking about YouTube. So, if you want that type of information,
Candace, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Wait. OG, produce. Hold on for just 1 minute.
I love it.
No, I just want to ask. So you think that everybody on YouTube is about entertainment?
No,
no matter what they channels or podcasts about, you think everybody is about entertainment?
No, I certainly do not. What I'm saying is when M3, he had made a comment earlier about, he made some kind of comment in which I was responding to the fact that sometimes people come on here and they're dry as fuck. He was saying that, people come on here and when you talk about business and
I told him they go to sleep on it.
People go to sleep on it. And I was saying that people come on here and when they present business, they're like talking like this and it's really boring and it's just really super boring. So I'm not saying be a clown. I'm not saying act that ass, but I'm saying be relatable. I'm not saying to come on here and buffoon for people. I'm just saying be a little bit more, stop being so stuffy, just be relatable. I'm not, so that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, like I said, don't be completely left and act an ass, but when you're on YouTube, there's some
don't be a dancing monkey.
You go into like
personality. Show some personality. I get what you're saying.
Hold on, family. Hold on, family.
For a second.
Real quick, I just want to give a shout out real quick to Southern Belle. Also, Lady Phoenix, I think I did shout you out, but I don't know if I did. If I did, I didn't. I'm sorry. Shout out to you as well. Also, we got our brother Wally in the building. Brother Wally, chime in. We just stepped in. What's up?
Wait, hold on for a second, Best, right? Watts was next because he had to say something. So after Watts, we're going to get to Wally. Hang in there, Wally.
Hold on a second, Wally.
No problem. Candid Ann pretty much said what I was thinking. Just when I was listening to what you were saying, I was understanding. It's not necessarily, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, right? But it's not about hitting the buttons, right? It's not about the air horns and the bells and the round of applause. It's not necessarily about that, right? Like somebody like me in particular, I take pride in the fact that I know I'm generally more entertaining than a lot of other people you're going to come across. I have a way of being able to have a conversation, to be able, and it's about little things like where you inflect your voice at. The pauses in between sentences, right? It's about understanding where the run-on sentence is, the small things that someone can bring out of their personality. The way sometimes just the way someone sounds when they laugh is entertaining enough. There are small things that people have that make them entertaining, that make you want to listen. There's anybody can read a book to me. I can read the book myself. If I come on here and the first steps to starting a business is registering with your state. You can register as an LLC or like that's not it. I'm the type of person where I'm gonna all right, fam. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all need to do to get a business together. First thing you're gonna do, fam, I'm gonna need you to go ahead, take your ass online. I'm gonna be all the way. I want to be, without being ratchet, I want to be all the way outside of what people see as professional, because I want you to understand that there is a different way to think other than this. Let's put on a tie and make sure you have a blazer on and button it up, but leave the top one unbuttoned. And you have to have it like life doesn't have to be that buttoned up. Like relax, breathe. I can still give you all the same juice, and we could put a little bit of gin. We could put a little bit of gin in the juice. As long as you get the juice, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters, baby. Just
sip on some gin and juice.
Sipping on gin and juice.
Why is this person long spoken? Like, who's this Southern Belle, baby? That long stroke can be good as okay. The long stroke can be fun as hell, y'all. I'm telling you.
Lord have mercy. Brother Wally, what's up, man?
Wale,
man? What up? What's going on?
What it do? Yeah. So to the overall conversation so far, what's going on? Right? Because the way I was hearing it, I did like the clarity part because I didn't really get that one piece, but now that I got that piece of clarity, I do get what you're saying, because I will add this component, because like what just 100 Watches said, right? You go on IG, you see that same type of energy of business, you see that same thing that he just did right there. Like, okay, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this business. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. We're gonna get this LLC. We're gonna get this, where to go, all that and extra stuff. you see that same type of energy and feel when everyone breaks it down. I get it. Yeah, everyone is different. Some people would like the entertainment part. Some people would like that type of energy. Because let's be honest, it's even when it comes to like, if you're dealing with a life coach, right? There's a certain type of people, right, that you talk to or you listen to. They got that type of energy that you want to go to, and then you're inspired by, and then you ride with them because that's the type of person you fit around, right? And then just because the way they talk and the way how they break things down, they give you that je ne sais quoi, to give you that boost to really get going. So when you're around those type of people and you listen to those, and then you really locking in, that's what gets you to pull in. So when you have that type of feel and energy zone, it is what that is. So I mean, but once again, of course, yeah, it is going to be depending on who you are as a person, right? So if you're someone that's just classic and formal, then that's going to be the type of person you're going to listen to. If you're someone that's that needs to get pumped, that needs to get that type of energy and feel for it, then you got to get pumped. You got to find that person that has that pumping energy for it. I know someone right now that's out on YouTube that is a life coach and that has that energy, and I love his vibe all the time, which is why I go to it all the time, no matter what, right? So, and everyone else is whatever. But there's always someone out there that does something for you, and that's why you went there and locked in. Because no matter what, when you listen to this person, you like, bro, I can't, like, this person does it for me every single time. Like, no matter what happens, like, every single time I go there, I know I'm gonna have a good time because it is always good. So I get what Cannon has.
I mean,
Hold on, family. Understanding a misconception of what type of entertainment you're talking about.
Hold on, family. Hold on.
Yeah.
Me and them three are stepping away for just 1 second. Y'all continue to cook. We just stepping away for a second, but y'all continue to talk.
Yeah. No, OG, I agree with you, right? Because at first, right, the way I heard it is the same way like how you heard it. Because like I'm not gonna lie, if I'm going to business, there is gonna be a simple sense of you're not going there to like just hear, every other, type of feel of jokes or whatnot. Like you're just trying to understand like how to build this thing up. So you want that sense of security of someone actually being serious than jokey. But at the same time, like, I guess it all depends on the presentation. Like if I sit here and I said today, right, somebody can present it to you like in animation form, right? Someone can present something to you in animation, but what they're giving to you is serious. But because the way how they're pixelating you in animation, like they're showing you like a person that's going through the process of getting a business, right? Through animation, which is the entertainment part, but they're giving you the facts, which is the straight and narrow part, right? And it mix matches well. So that might be, a lock-in for most people, which is why you usually see when people do like these stocks, like they probably show like stock videos, but at the same time, they also give you the information through the stock videos. It's still like a trigger point for them.
Yeah, I get it. That's a great analogy that you just gave. So I understand now. And I agree with, like, I like a person with a big personality, right? Because I have a big personality. So I can relate to a person that's coming in giving business ideas, and they got a big personality and they saying it in such a way, that's capturing your attention. I think is that what you were talking about, Candy? And that's keeping your attention span. That's, just kind of their bubbly personality, they're interesting, and you like the way they articulate themselves, and you're learning at the same time. So I understand that. I think the perception I had was different. So I understand exactly what you're saying now, but I do see a lot of YouTubers that teach finances, crypto, real estate, different ways, right, to have multiple streams of income. And they are like on their shit on a serious note. And when I tune into them, listening to them, I think it is because they have a certain type of way that they teach, or their personality definitely keeps your attention. So yeah, I get it. So it can't be anybody boring, talking drabby and down and slow, and because it'll make you fall asleep too at the same time. So I get your point.
Well, I do think that I feel like M3 and Mr. Best, like, how can I say this and it makes sense? Because I'm not trying to be crazy. I want to make sense. When you're experienced in making the content and running a page and everything like that, like, you're able to get away with a little bit more, right? So like the point that I was making earlier about the content, as a content creator, you are the content you create. So a lot of people being a little less experienced and everything like that, I kind of commend these people that come on and are goofy and are stupid and something like that, because some of these people in their real life probably have a hard time with person-to-person interaction. And the only way for them to be able to work through that is for them to get online. So they have to get on YouTube and they have to do these lives. And they're going to say some things that are probably going to piss people off and maybe rub people the wrong way, because people in real life don't want to deal with them. So the only way for them to get interaction is for them to get on the internet. The only way for me to figure out that I'm an asshole is for me to get on YouTube and talk to another person who's willing to talk to me to tell me that I'm an asshole. Sometimes that's what a person has to get in order for them to be able to grow and develop. Now, what's important for these people is when you're watching, if you subscribe to their channel, if you don't subscribe to their channel, the hope is whatever the first video is doesn't look the same as video 15. It doesn't look the same as video 20. That's the hope. But I think that there definitely needs to be a little bit more grace towards people that have a different perspective or outlook or thought process or something to you, because they're probably still trying to work shit out the same way you are. Because again, if there's anybody on this planet that has it all figured out, please point them in my direction so I can holler at them, because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So with the understanding that no one has it all figured out, we all just need a little bit more grace and leeway instead of just throwing everybody in the dumpster and canceling them. Like, let's get online and argue and have fun with it. But next time, tomorrow, when I see you, don't bring up yesterday when I see you tomorrow, because we was working through something. Now let's work through something else.
Facts on that one. Gotta give a shout out to our family. You know what I mean? Watch us cook that one. That was amazing. That was beautiful watching. Shout out to our sister Anya and Nia. You know what I mean? Shout out. Good to see you, sister. Go ahead, Wally. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, because you know it's interesting, right? So like, let's say like a topic like sports, bro. I remember I passed a sports channel one time, right? The dude was just listening to the thing, right, and having the audio playing in the back, and he just standing there, just talking about the plays that were going down, and there was like a loaded there were like thousands of people watching, and I'm like, wait, what? How do you get 1,000 people watching a dude that just standing there watching the game, but it's not on screen? How did that work? I was like, it was amazing to me, but you know what? It worked though. It worked. So it was like, I was like, man, it was so crazy to me, because like, if I see someone talk about it, it's like they won't even get that much traction for it. But he's over here just standing there just watching the game, but it's not on TV. They're just seeing him watch it and call the plays like if it was a catch or they dropped it or a flag call, whatever. I'm like, this dude got this much amount of people in this chat, and this is all he's doing? Man, you can't make this up. This is impossible. I'm like, man, there's got to be something going on here.
But Wally, you know what? But Wally, look at, for instance, Tasha K, right, where she has a platform dedicated to people who winos, and it's like who would think that winos are a demographic that you can appeal to and make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month off of just drinking and talking about whatever stuff that people winos on the street talk about. But she started a whole network based on just drinking and talking mad shit, like how we know winos do. It just goes to show there's an audience for everything. I seen a woman that was on YouTube that wasn't doing anything but looking in there on her phone, and people was just looking at her. And it was like a lot of people in the room, and I was a little confused. I'm like, how did I get here? And then I clicked off, but I clicked back on to understand, like, is she really got a channel just doing nothing in her house on the phone, right? Like, and not even, and just like, I was like, what the hell? But that was real. Now I'll be honest with you, even syndicated television is starting to notice the trend that ever since reality TV started becoming a thing on syndicated TV, now people are really addicted to reality TV. So whatever you do that's like camera on and it's like live, like you know how like people like to come into their house and show what their boyfriend doing, like you guys said, and expose people. That's like real, right? And people really like, they like that. So it's like there's a genre for everything. That's all I'm saying. Like there's a genre for everything, but you have to know as a content creator what your personal like thing is, because if everybody want to be Kevin Samuels, ain't nobody gonna be Kevin Samuels. If everybody want to, you know, that's what it is. Now I'll be honest with you, on this network, it's a network. It's not just one segment, one type of show. Like I think the most type show we might have that might mimic Fight Night is my segment, and obviously you need a little something for, you know, for the heads like that. But at the end of the day, it's about expansion. And I think what you know, Cannon was saying was that Black people need to basically, and Miss OG, they're basically saying widen your portfolio as a people. So it shouldn't be most Black people just have shows about the same thing. It's like, well, we need to see more Black people that have a diverse background in terms of their content. I know for me, I'm a big science and history buff, like in my personal life. So I watch a lot of channels like that. I don't see a lot of Black people that host science channels. Like I found one Black man doing that. And I mean, I subscribe to his channel, but it's like I don't see a lot of that. Same thing, for instance, like it's just certain things I'm just into that I don't see a lot of. But if that's your thing, definitely get in it. I know one Black lady, she's a doctor, so she does she has a channel where she talks about different things, like as far as like survival stuff, like so you won't go to the ER. You know, she's an ER doctor, and she makes money off of that. But it's really just about you. It's really just about what's your niche and stuff like that. Because some people, they want to make a career, but I think the dangerous part about being a content creator, right? If everybody's a content creator and nobody wants to work in the real world, right? Like society is going to start noticing that we don't have enough people in the workforce because everybody wants to be a content creator. There was a little boy at my martial arts school, when he was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? He just said, I want to be a content creator. And then the next question was, well, what kind of content? He was like, I don't know. I just want to be a content creator. And okay, like you don't want to be you don't want to be a content creator. Okay. So yeah. Now my son isn't too far off. He wants to be a comedian. He's not too far off, okay, but I'm just saying, like, okay, he's going to school, okay, he's going to finish school, but it's the last thing I do. But I mean, I just think we just need to diversify. That's the word, diversify.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying on that.
Hold on, family. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Gotta give a shout out to my man Victor Freeze Music. You know what I mean? Peace to you, brother. Peace to you as well. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people making comments or whatever. I see y'all up in here, man. Shout out to everybody up in here. You know what I mean? Before I let Watts cook also, you know what I mean? I want to say, you know, for Lola, you know, I remember when you first started, you know what I'm saying? Even with your segment, you know what I mean? You know, you have to put your thinking caps on. You just can't come in there without actually having a form of intellect or even trying to think, right? But also, I remember when you first started, right, as a content creator, you're like, Mr. Best, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm ready to go on by myself. I said, listen, look, take this mic, all right, and go out there and kill this shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, all right, and then you just took it and you ran with it. And that's how it is. Sometimes you just got to jump in the water. You know what I mean? You just got to jump in the water.
I forgot about that. I forgot.
You gotta, yo, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I believe in. Boom, I'm going for it. Watch, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right, I'm gonna drop this and then I'm gonna hop out real quick because I gotta fold laundry. I'm gonna still listen, but I gotta fold laundry. Something I don't want us to forget is because we having these conversations and we're talking about systemic and this and that and the other. And at the end of the day, humans are gonna human and humans tribalize. And when humans tribalize, sometimes Black people get a little bit separated. So there is also a reality that these platforms also have an algorithm. So some of this stuff that you need to be watching that is good for you, you're going to have to go find it. YouTube's not just going to put it in front of you. Right. YouTube is probably going to use the algorithm to get you the bullshit that gets the good numbers. Because the stuff that I go look at, the stuff that is good for me about meditation or building a business or being a father, or all this other different kind of stuff that I look up, these videos also have multi-million views on them as well. But they don't show up on your, I suggest this video would be good for you. Those videos don't generally pop up. The ones that pop up is LeBron is beefing with Russell Westbrook after last week's loss. Like that's the shit that's gonna pop up in your timeline. So I also don't want us to keep stepping on the content creators that are doing the work, but they're not being seen because these platforms are stepping on them. Let's not forget that as well, because there are some great Black content creators that are putting out content for the betterment of Black people. It definitely exists. One of you guys said earlier that some of the stuff that's going on right now, we're probably not going to see. Our children, maybe our grandchildren are probably going to see it, but there is so much amazing shit that's happening. I just hope that the ones that need it are actually doing the work to separate themselves from the reality VH1 TV bullshit that you're getting on your timeline, to actually go and do some work to look for the stuff that you know you need in your life. Because as a grown-ass adult, you make dumbass decisions, and as soon as you make a dumb decision, you're like, man, I shouldn't have did that. But most people got pride and be like, well, I did it, so now I got to stand in it. So now you're standing in bullshit. I just hope people are actually separating themselves from the craziness that they're doing and finding what they actually need in their life to better themselves. Y'all be easy, party people.
All right, 100. That was real. I want to make a point about, because we was talking about a lot of people exposing people and different things, and I do believe to a certain extent, certain people need to be exposed. I'm just gonna keep it real. When you got people out here Fugaziing people, beating people out of money, dogging people, stealing, people content, or stealing people ideas, or just out here just outright just being, ratchet in how they treat people. Like how Kanye is kind of exposing some things, what I'm saying? Like, I do believe in a certain amount of that. Because if we are not aware of some things that people are doing, we can fall into that trap and become a victim of that person. So I do believe that there should be a certain amount of exposing to people that's out here doing wrong and treating people wrong and stealing from people. And, like you may expose the thieves or the company that is stealing from senior citizens or veterans. Like, I believe people like that need to be exposed. I'm sorry. And there's just certain people that do need to be exposed on the bullshit that they doing. If they out here beating people out of their money with false information on YouTube, right? Promising people these get rich quick schemes. People like that, I'm sorry, they need to be exposed. Because if we don't know who these people are, we can fall into that trap. And how many times has that happened? And how would you feel if it's your parent, if it's your grandmother or your mother that's been duped by some content creator with a get rich quick scheme? So yeah, I absolutely believe to a certain extent that people need to be exposed.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that happens, and I think people stealing people, whether it's people's content on this thing, which happens to me a lot, or people stealing, different things as far as like real life things. I mean that's a real life thing too, but frauding people and things of that nature, that needs to be exposed as well. So I think there is a time and space for it, and I think we also got to learn time and space of when to do things. All right, because sometimes we may be like, oh, I want to talk about this now, I want to expose people now, but sometimes you just gotta wait. When you cook food, sometimes you gotta let it simmer. You know what I mean? You just don't put it in there and then you just serve it. Sometimes you gotta let it cook, simmer, and then you serve it. All right. So we gotta know how to serve things and be patient enough to know when and how to do things. So time and place for everything. So yeah, go ahead, family.
Yeah, Mr. Best, I give you that, but at the same time though, depending on certain things you serving, you gotta serve it ASAP. So let's be real now, because now all things are always hot. Some of them are cold, and you got to serve that thing ASAP. You got to drink that bad boy down, because if you leave it out there, it just melt and be watery sometimes. Yeah, but but that's all. But it depends on certain things. think of it like this, right? Because I know you're looking at it. Think of it as a smoothie, right? If you leave a smoothie out too long, it doesn't have that same drink effect.
Yeah, it don't have the same consistency. I get what you're saying, but like, and that's a different run. But listen, when it
but that's what different things.
Yeah, but when it comes to this, it's really chess, not checkers, honestly. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to know how to move in a room full of vultures. Sometimes you just gotta know how to move. You know what I mean? If you know how to move in a room full of vultures, you're gonna get eaten up. Like you gotta know how to move. Like you gotta know. Okay, listen. Especially in the social media space, you gotta understand that sometimes you gotta be around certain people and spaces and places that you may not even like, or they may not even be on the same wavelength, or you really wouldn't even mess with them in real life. Honestly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what social media does. Right. It's about networking and relationships. So you really can't have really an emotional tie to certain things. Certain things you gotta let go. Certain things you gotta move on from, and certain things you just gotta ignore. And certain things you gotta just address at the proper time. Especially when it comes to people doing certain things to you that you may not like. Sometimes it may not be time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Unless, like I said, it's completely blatant disrespect. Like they mentioning your name. They mentioning your mama and where you live and your kids and all that thing. Yeah, you got to check that ASAP. Like that, I'm not going to tell you not to shoot at. You know what I'm saying? But even then, you still got to strategize that. Like we as a people have to learn the art of strategy. We got to learn the art of war. We have to learn that. All right? Not everything needs to happen at that time. There's a time and place for everything. I think if we practice that more in our daily lives with everything that we do, you know what I'm saying? It'll be better. I have a day where I clean. I have a day where I do laundry. I have a day where I do social media. I have a day where I take phone calls for business. I have a day where I do certain things. I have a day when I talk to family and I don't talk to them. I have everything in my life planned out the way I like it because I like order and structure. I like to be able to sit back and know when things are coming instead of being rushed and now I'm sweating and now I don't know. Oh, man, I got to call my dad on Friday. No, it's already scheduled. I already know what day I'm going to call him. I already know. You know what I'm saying? And
I agree with what you're saying, 84.
And if it's a day where he kind of calls out a pattern or something falls out of pattern, I readjust and I re-strategize what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And
I agree, and I think to Candace's point, I think that the exposing or doxing has gone too far because they doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Like they doing it because they have a disagreement, they fall out. Somebody say something, somebody don't like her, somebody feel, oh, now I'm gonna expose you. I ain't talking about that kind of exposure. So, but I do agree that to Candace's point that I think that that's what she's talking about. Like we need to stop being so butthurt. I'm gonna say that in the words of brother Rico, butthurt about somebody disagreeing with you or saying something you don't like, and you go to because y'all have an argument. Now you want to expose them, you want to dox them. Like, yeah, no, that's too far, and a lot of that is happening on social media. So I will agree with that point.
Mm-hmm. Just to add, because my thing is,
Wally, hold on one second, hold on, and I just want to just say this to OG Patrice's point, and I've spoken to most of these guys, if not all of them. Half of these guys that's doing all this doxing and all that and exposing things, none of them are really willing to pull up. You know what I mean? And none of them are really willing to really have real life action with anybody. They're just doing that just to maybe try to get some views and clicks. And even though it's toxic and it's damaging, most of them are not really about their life in real life. They're really not going to really show up or pull up or come through or anything like that. So please understand that. Please know that. And please just don't. I tell people, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Flavor Flav told you back in, I think it was 89 or 88, whenever the hell it came out. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe that. All right? Really don't believe the hype. Go ahead, Wally.
No, yeah.
Wait, hold on, Wally. Before you talk, I gotta let y'all know I give a run, but as always, salute everyone on the panel. And I definitely catch up with you guys. Huh?
Do you have a channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I don't know. My YouTube channel is average at best. It's new. I'm still building it. And I have another one. It's a research channel. It's called The Real Serious B. But yeah, my main Instagram channel that I'll be working from most of the time is Miss Ocean Possible. I forgot to put my handle up there. But if you guys want to research me, I'm at Miss Oshun Possible on IG and Facebook. So that's where you guys can find me.
It's nice meeting you. I'm absolutely delighted to see another beautiful Black woman on here. So I definitely will try to find you, and thank you for, being on the panel. I really appreciate it. It warms my heart to see like so many beautiful Black women on here just being so intelligent, and I just love it. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing more of you.
Thank you. I see this. I see the same. Thank you so much. And I'm glad too that there's beautiful people out there, because there's some of us that ain't like hitting it right. You know what I mean? But we gotta take it where we can get it. But I gotta run. I will see you guys in the next time though.
Okay, Miss Lola.
Have a good night. All right. See you tomorrow. Man, you know what? I might have to do like a part 2 of this. Everything that I have written out of notes, you guys was already rocking. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to save these notes for another rainy day.
It's funny to me, this beautiful Black woman, I'm not sure if she's single, but like all these men are talking about, they ain't no good Black woman. Like, why is this woman, is she still single? Like, somebody needs to, like, y'all playing games, men. Y'all playing games if you got this woman out here still single.
We playing games?
Y'all playing games.
We can all in B more. We can't find her.
Look, some of them don't want to be found. That's the honest truth, Candy Ann, okay? Look, we know there's plenty of good women around, and there's plenty of good men around. But the good men are taken in another country. See, these women, they're trapping us, they're bringing us over there with their lure, and they're kidnapping us. You know why? They see the potential. Shout out to the Passport Brothers.
I'm about to say, what in the hell are you talking about? Anybody trapping Black men? Come on now, stop.
No, but seriously, the thing is that like everybody keep making the wrong choices because you're going after the wrong things. Okay, look, I know that people complain about women pocket checking them and wanting them to be, financially stable, but who would not? I mean, if you go out there to another country, they're gonna look for you to provide with something. So you're going out there for the same reasons that Black women will want, and there's no more than right. But people fail to realize it's not that they want somebody to have it all. They want someone that's ambitious. And people got to start looking at, okay, well, this is a compliment to me if she's looking at me based on my ambition. That means that I cannot slow down and just get complacent. Okay? I need to keep being the best version of myself so I could stay attractive. Like you say, go buck wild, do something, do something entertaining, do something that is going to continue to spark up the marriage or spark up the relationships. You know what I mean? You don't have to be silly like a dancing monkey, but you have to do something at least, to play your part into it. Instead of just complaining about why no Black women want you or whatever, or no woman wants you, period. And it's the same thing for the women. Yeah, it's good to look at someone that has potential, but what reasons are you giving that person that makes them want to choose you, Shaniqua, over Rachel, over Maria, over Mariah, over whoever, right? Or maybe Keisha, you know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you put yourself out there, because people got to understand it's a goddamn competition out in this world. And if you want to be chose or even seen, you got to put yourself out there. You don't have to be a slut, you know what I mean? But if you are a slut, be the best slut you can to attract that man. I'm just putting that out there as well too.
Wait.
Hey, you,
no, we ain't telling that shit. We ain't telling
hey,
you were doing
entertainment, right? So I gotta put out there,
Be
right?
the best slut you can.
Be the best slut you can. I need you to explain that.
We don't need no more stoopies out here.
You see, this is the problem. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all want. First, y'all talking about, well, you know, y'all making it boring. Y'all gotta make it entertaining. And then, like, give it a little bit of flavor. Then you're like, oh my gosh, Anthony said that.
Oh, okay, that was the entertainment part. Okay.
But no, like with the good girls, right? Like I said, there's good girls out there, but sometimes even being a good girl, you have to be a little aggressive. I've heard some men that actually admires a woman who's slightly aggressive. I'm not talking about being loud and obnoxious, but be the type of woman that will be like, hey, hey, big hair, like, what you up to or something like that. Like, at least say hi, make an approach. Stop shaking your legs like you scared. You know what I mean? We're not the boogeyman. So sometimes I feel like the good girls are the more quiet and timid ones. And that's why some of these dudes some of these other ratchet women get chosen, because they don't care. They're going to just put themselves out there and they're going to let it be known that they want you, whether they like it or not.
I'm triggered.
You should. Welcome to Knowledge Relationships.
Our delight.
Because I feel like you're conflating having a casual relationship and looking for a spouse. All right. So when you talk about speak up and the woman, that ratchet woman out here, is the ratchet woman what you want to marry or have fun with? And the woman that's a little bit shy, like, I'm expecting you to be a man. So instead of throwing it back in my face, speak up. Why not you be a man?
No, it's not complaining.
It's submission.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about submission. It's my plan. But to make the first initial response, you acting like a puss? Like, you can't have it both ways.
But see, that's the problem. And that's the thing. I'm glad that you point out, because that's the point that I'm making. See, don't come at me, right? I'm just a messenger, Candy, and you know what I mean? I'm just
going back and forth. It's cool.
I know. But the thing is that's what these men, when they come up in the space, right? That's what they talk about. So there is a contradiction to it, because men complain about one thing, but then who you picking? You're picking the ones that's ready to scrap and fight or whatever. So are you the man or are you the woman? You want to be saved or you want to be the protector? I don't know. Matter of fact, I'm confused now. You know what I mean? And it only gets worse in these relationships, because it's like all these roles are being switched, to a point where it's like women is thinking like, hey, like, I could be like a man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wear the pants in the family. I'm gonna do this and that. But then it's like, when you are in the leadership position, then you hate that. Then you're spiteful towards the man. You're like, damn, I know, like, I want what I want, but then it's like, this dude's a pussy. So I really don't know what I really want. Because what I thought what I want, I'm not really getting that satisfaction that I need. That's guaranteed. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Salute to Mr. He Said. Thank you for tuning in, my brother.
Great thing earlier. I wish my woman would protect me.
Hey, man, don't say that with a bunch of people on YouTube. They're gonna be like, oh, what, man, this dude a sucker, man. He wants his woman to protect her. Oh, he's beta, all that kinds of shit.
Hey, Mr. He what's good?
Mm-hmm.
But women do protect men. I want to say that it's just not in the way that when you perceive protection.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that, as a wife, I've been a wife for a long time, and there's a lot of things that I do to protect my husband, because I love him more than I hate a random stranger acting a fool on these streets. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we do as women. It just looks different. It's just not as aggressive, but we protect you.
Yep,
we value you, we protect your, like, it's about respect and the fact that I don't want to lose you. Like, you're too valuable to me as a black man, as my husband, as my protector. I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to do things to protect you.
No, and I get it. Like, you know, you protecting, most of the time, the best protection is protecting the reputation of a man. You know, honor that and cherish that. Now, however, if you're in the alley somewhere, right, some, you know, woman come up there and smack your husband's ass like that and be like, hey, daddy, you know, you better get to scrapping.
If a woman walks up to my husband and hits him on his ass and says, hey, daddy,
in front
I'm
of
gonna be like, you damn straight, girl. I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
I think for women, for us, when it comes to what you guys will call protection, I think we women will call covering. You know, it's covering. Because we're protecting our interests, our investment in the love of our life, right? Our man, the protector, provider, you know, and all of that. So it's more like a covering. We protect you guys all the time from yourselves as well, especially when it comes to things like your health, you know, things like, you know, we know where you're weak at, we are stronger at. So it's a covering, so to speak. Look at Candy. So, you know what I mean? So it's a difference. I agree with Candy. It's a difference on how we protect and cover. It's a covering that we do because we know you so well as our spouse or as our men, especially if you've been together for a long time. Like you know it with your eyes closed. You know it like the back of your hand. You know it like the color of your skin. You know that man. And you know what's good for him, what he needs, and you make sure he gets it. And you cover him in that as a woman. And if a woman is doing what she's supposed to do, and the man is leading like he's supposed to lead, the conversation about submission and leadership never come up. You just do it. It just is. It just is. If a man is leading right as a man, I'm automatically going to curve to that to the submission of that man as a leader, as a pillar in the community, as a good father, as a good husband, as a good role model, as a good brother, as a good uncle, like as a good friend. I'm going to see that in my man. And he's not going to have to demand anything of me. It's just going to be. I'm going to be.
Yes.
You know, and that's the part that I think that's still hollering submit. If you got to say that to a woman, I question that. I'm side-eyeing you. If you got to demand that in a woman, I'm side-eyeing and questioning your leadership skills. I ain't never had a man in my life that I dealt with that had ever said those words to me. When I was married for over 10 years, I naturally submitted to my husband, naturally as a wife, because he was a leader. He was a pillar of his community. He was a good man with a good heart and led the household. I knew how to fall back. I knew my place with that man and letting him lead when it was time for him to take the leadership role. But guess what? He knew that things that he was weaker on and I was stronger on, he fall back and let me lead. Now that's real. And see, because men, there's a certain amount of submission, if that's the word y'all want to use, that a man does to a woman too, when he knows his woman, when he knows his wife. He'll tell you in a minute, yeah, my wife better at that than I am, so I'll let her handle that. That's a way of him falling back because I'm better at whatever it is that he's weaker at, and vice versa. So when I hear these conversations from these men, this whole submissive, I'm side-eyeing you. What kind of leader are you? Because listen, a woman that knows that a man should lead in a certain way, she's not going to let that man lead them to destruction and stray in the relationship or in the marriage. I'm not finna submit to no man that I know that has a gambling problem. I got to worry about where all our money going. Is the bills gonna get paid? Like, seriously, come on. But you study telling me submit. I'm not gonna submit to no man that's out here slinging community D all over from state to state. But you want to submit. But you slinging community D, Negro. Come on. So when we have these conversations, and no man that is really truly a good man is going to demand a woman to submit to him. That's going to be something he never have to say those words, because the woman is going to watch the way that man move. And if she's digging it, she going to get on the damn program.
Mm-hmm. Period. Point blank, period. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of providing solutions based on common sense as well, too, though. Because like OG Patrice says, and this is what I tell people as well, too. People who are, like here's the thing. I don't even know why the fuck we keep talking about submissive anyway. Ain't none of these chicks that you're demanding to submit is ever going to submit to you anyway. But the point is that when you find a woman that actually cares for you, she's naturally going to submit to authority, however you want to call it. She's going to naturally submit to you without you even telling, without you trying to demand, without you trying to say, bitch, make me a sandwich, a cooked sandwich for Marcus or whatever. No, she's going to naturally get in the kitchen and ask you, baby, what do you need? You know what I mean? She's going to get that water because she knows that you thirsty. She know you better than what you probably think you know yourself.
Preach, bro.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, right? Y'all Negroes, man, need to stop fronting, because the thing is, every time y'all front, I'm going to keep exposing you. The same thing for your women, too. Every time when you think you're high above yourself, I'm going to expose you, too, until you look in the mirror, okay? At least 3 times to knock off the delusion. But the point is, that, like, you know, look, man, people who try to say this woman need to submit and women need to be submissive, yes, but I don't need a question. I just know from the back of my mind that, okay, you is different from what you're trying to portray yourself as. Because I never really tell women, you need to submit to me anyway. You don't never hear alpha male come out of my mouth. Right. You know, I'll chuckle. And if you want me to role play on that, I guess I'll play along and be like, hey, man, one of y'all going to have to give me a glass of water or something. I'm thirsty. But other than that.
He said one of y'all? Did he say one of y'all?
See, look at Kenny had already getting triggered, though. I could have been talking about the women in the chat. You don't even know who I'm looking at. I probably would have like this, whatever. You know, I'm not even going to. You know, let me shut up. You know, Simon, you're here.
Yeah, when OG Patrice started coming in, I was just like, oh, goddamn. I was going to slam her up against the wall and say, look, lady, you don't know what a real man looks like, because goddamn, I don't know who you've been dealing with in your past, but this ain't the thing. And I think OG Patrice knows that. Like, she knows, like, on the real deal, there are men and there's men. You understand? As we know, there's women and there's women, and there's no here and there between that. So it's just really about what we're trying to cooperate with, and you know, getting into what we're trying to deal with. I ain't trying to get too serious. I'm sorry.
Wait. What did the whole slam me against the wall? What I do?
You know you want to get slammed against the wall, G.
What I do? I'm just trying to figure out what I do that he say he want to slam me against the wall and say, wait, woman.
It's been a long time.
I don't want to get manhandled. Unless you handle me in a gentle way that a man will handle a woman. Other than that, you can keep the rest of that stuff. But no, I was just saying, just like I would side eye a woman that would say all men cheat. right?
No,
Because I know all men don't cheat.
you're right.
Or a man that say all women cheat. Nah, not true.
Yeah,
You have to side eye people that make statements like that, right? Just like
no.
the whole submit thing. Like, you have to keep saying that, bro. You have to go on a date and ask a woman, are you submissive? Like, what are we doing? Like, if you have to even
Oh,
ask,
hey.
We all know where that energy is going towards, though.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt. I feel, anybody care to role play on this part?
I'm here, bro.
Well, sorry, but I don't want to role play with you, but you know what I mean. But I'm talking about like let's say we do like a little bit of role play, right? An example, okay? Let's say that one of you guys, Wally or Simon, whatever, you go on a date with Ken and Ann or whoever, right? And you ask those same type of questions. Like, say for instance, Ken and Ann, right? I just wanted to know, like,
I like Canada.
are you a very submissive type of woman? Like, how often do you fetch a glass of water whenever a man is thirsty? Imagine telling someone like that.
So
That's quite particular to the black female, but I'm good. All right.
what did he say? That's quite typical for black females?
That's quite particular. To the
Particular.
So, when I'll be very honest with you guys. I know you're about to close out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say that initially, when I have these conversations with people, I always want to know what your idea of submission is, because it looks different for different people.
That's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
Like,
and
hold on, Simon.
Finish it. And I want to know because when I got married, I told my husband I'm not going to obey. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to repeat that I'm going to obey. Right? I'm just, if you want me to lie, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. I'm taking these vows seriously. And I promise that I will be faithful. I promise sickness and health and all, but I'm not promising to obey you. Right? But what I will tell you, and if my husband was here, he's working right now, I find extreme pleasure in satisfying him. I'm not talking about in the bed. I'm talking about that too, but I'm talking about if he needs something, if he is hungry, I find pleasure in getting him a drink. I find pleasure in smelling good for him. I find pleasure in getting him water. I find pleasure in all these different things that, like, just fulfilling needs. I don't want him, like, I find pleasure in studying him and fulfilling a need before he has to say anything to me about it.
That's pretty fair.
Right. So
can I ask you this question though? No. So I want to ask you this question. When you say obey, like, from your standpoint of obey, what do you mean by that?
So I thought I had so keep in mind I'm from a Caribbean culture.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. So I'm coming from this idea of what I saw in terms of men. I'm not from a matriarchal society. I'm from a patriarchal situation. That's what I saw. So when I think about obey, I think about a lot of negative things in terms of I'm going to do what I want. And as long as I pay the bills, you're going to do as I say. Right. And I'm not going to.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. And the thing that men say, like, I want silence, sex, and a sandwich. If that's what you want, I'm not for you, because sex, silence, and a sandwich is not enough for me to fulfill you with. I need to be intimate with you. I need to be able to fulfill, like, I derive pleasure from fulfilling needs in you. That's outside of something as simple as, because if you need silence, sex, and a sandwich, as far as I'm concerned, you can hire a whore, hire a maid, and hire a cleaning person.
That part.
But if you want loyalty, if you want to know that God forbid something happens to you, you don't have to worry about where I'm at. You don't have to worry. Like, I want you to know that, rest assured, my wife is home. I want you to know that, like, so the pleasure that I derive is outside of something as simple as sex, silence, and a sandwich. And if, like I said, if that's what you want, no problem.
Wait, hold on, Simon. Go ahead, Ken.
No, if that's what you want, no problem. Hey, I'm not going to be everything for everyone. I'm okay with that, right? But for me, the pleasure comes in fulfilling your needs. It comes in a lot of different ways. And when I say fulfilling your needs, it's a gamut of things. I'm watching you. I'm realizing all kinds of things before you verbalize it, and I'm deriving pleasure from like, yes, I made him happy. You know, that gives me pleasure. I feel like a woman when I feel like I made you happy, and that's so far outside of sex, silence, and a sandwich. You know,
right? And it's natural. It's a natural thing you want to do
because I love you, because
exactly.
I find value in you, because I want the best for you, right? So the loyalty, the whole obedience thing was something that was a cultural thing for me. But of course, if you ask me not to do something, I'm not going to do it because I respect you. Not because I'm some idiot that feels like my husband said this, so I'm going to do what he says, but because I value your thought process, and I think so much, I think so highly of you that I want to do what you say, not because I'm like, I'm going to do what he says. Because if I don't agree with you and I find like you're making a fault, I'm going to tell you, babe, I don't think you're right on that.
Right.
So can I jump in this one, or
Yeah, well, Wally, before you say something, let me add to it real quick. So as far as with the submission thing, hopefully everybody remembers the words that I always say when I give the answer to a submission. My version is just corroboration. Okay, like I get that a lot of people want you to be a slave and be a robot and a maid and all that, right? But all I really want is to make sure that you corroborate with me times that I need you, especially the times that you need me. That's how I look at submission. Not just saying like, I don't feel like it and I don't want to do this or whatever. No, naturally, like it should play on both parts where it's like, no one's bound down to each other, but it's more like, hey, I'm willing to help you because I see a need in you. And I want to help because I love you. I feel like you kind of took all the words out of my mouth anyway, Ken, and I don't know. You probably been watching my content or something and taking notes, but that sounds like more of my talk to me. But go ahead, you're good. Why is that?
Yeah. So let me get in here real quick. So I know you're about to go out, but but to Ken and standpoint with everything she's saying, right? Because it's like, I think one thing about when we speak about these, I think because now when we say certain words like submission, right, and we throw out this bold word, and it's like, like people are so they so traumatized by hearing the word versus it being broken down, like what are you really saying, right? Because we can sit here and say, hey, here's the word submission, right? You put it in a bubble. Now here's the connector. The connector is the cooperation. The connector is being faithful. The connector is being able to cooperate with each other or connect, and all these other wording and context. Because when you add those other things, now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. Submission. Because you have to connect those things. You can't just say in a broad spectrum and think people are going to understand what you're saying right then and there. So that's another thing of that format. Because, it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, so, like, if you're saying that, right, do the women on the panel understand what submission is?
Cannon just brought one point to it. If I said, like I said before, if I said submission, right, M3 said cooperation. Cannon brought in a bubble and said being faithful.
So Cannon said cooperation.
No, M3 said cooperation. She said being faithful.
Right. Okay, so what's your take on it?
My take on what she said?
No, in terms of like a woman being submissive. I mean, have you ever had a woman be submissive to you?
If we talking about at a general standpoint, yeah.
How did that look like?
Being able to, well, okay, so let me break this down. So a woman that's literally able to quote unquote submit to you, that's because in general, like we always said, she's good by you. She knows who you are as a person. She knows you're a good person, everything of that nature. She can honestly deal with you without error, nothing. She can be around you and be herself around you. Also being able to communicate with you, knowing that she can trust you with any information that is being spoken to you or by you, right? So my thing is, like, in a lot of senses, let's say a woman were to come to you, right? But she can trust you with a certain, point of, asking a question, right? And she's good by you. She's able to talk to you because she can trust you with information that she couldn't trust with another one. Hey, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Right? All I'm saying, to that standpoint, all I'm saying is the fact that she won't do that with a lot of people. Let's say it like that.
So the women, Candid, I've been looking to talk to you for a while, and you've been dodging me. I've been like on the IG. I've been like, "Oh, Candid, can you come up on my interview?" She'd be like, "No."
Okay, so here's the opportunity. Do you have something in particular to talk to me about?
Yeah, of course. Your relationships in life and how you've been dealing with shit, man.
Oops, my bad, Simon.
Yeah. No. I'm not talking about me. We can talk about our personal shit after. But I'm just saying, like, in regards to response to what he said. What do you think about that?
What do I think about what Wally said?
Yeah.
I agree with some of it. I think I agree with most of it. Like I said, for me, oftentimes when I'm in these spaces, being from the Caribbean, right? There's sometimes we use English words and the same English word, Barbados. Mm-hmm. So the same English word might mean something completely different to me than it means to you. So I oftentimes ask people, what is submission to you? Because I want to understand, what do you exactly meaning? Because like I told you before, I told my husband, I'm not going to obey you, right? But I actually do.
That doesn't make any sort of sense to a modern day man, to be fair.
Say again?
That doesn't make any sort of sense to a modern day man, if that makes any sort of sense. You just said, what did you just say?
I told him that I'm in my vows when we got married and we stood in front of our friends and family. You know how they have the, to obey and to do this and sickness and health and blah, 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 blah. There's a line that says to obey.
Yeah.
I told him I'm not going to repeat those words. So let's
but why then did you get involved in the vows?
Okay, so here's the thing, Simon, right? I'm not going to be, like, for instance, I would not be a good mate for you. If that bothers you, and that's okay, Simon.
Nothing to do with me. Look, I ain't involved.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Asking you a question.
Someone like yourself who obey. If the words obey, if me repeating the words obey bothers you, then maybe I might not be for you. But the fact of the matter is,
chill for a second. Nothing's bothering me. I'm just asking you a question.
Person like you. Forget you particularly. I mean, a person such as yourself. If anyone, whomever it is, if there's 1 million people and 500,000 of them say that you're going to repeat the word, then for 500,000 people, I'm not going to be for them, right?
All right, no, okay.
Right, what I am saying is, when you get to know me, and when I put my trust in you,
it's not a personal thing. It's not a personal thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't take these conversations personal. What I'm trying to say, that when you actually get to know me, and when I have trust and faith in you, then I probably, without even having to have this whole discussion about obeying, I'm gonna obey. At the end of the day, I'm kind of just gonna naturally obey you any fucking way.
I'll tell you 99 reasons why you're not gonna obey. because of the reason why you talked in the first dance. The fact of the matter is right? God. You walked into your marriage with a discrepancy, and that's a problem. The problem is you're not obeying to your man. What you're doing is you're going, I've got these walls, and I've got these factions, I've got these ideas, and you're not going to be able to actually be a husband to me in the first instance, because I'm the woman, I'm the modern woman, and I know where I'm coming from, and you're not going to be able to dictate to me how my life works because I've set my own life up. So what's going to happen right here is I'm going to marry you, and you're going to be a trophy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on a pedestal, and I'm going to try and show my girlfriends how pretty you look to everybody else. And that's what's going to happen. And I'm going to wake up every day, I'm going to feel happy about myself, and I'm not going to think any twos about the man that I'm actually married to, because the man that I'm actually married to was a simp. And he just bought into my whole lifestyle and my whole ideology about what I wanted to do. And I wake up every day happy, and he's going to live the rest of his eternity in sadness. And that's what happens in modern day ideology in life. And with women in black gender reality, that's what goes on.
Wait, so I'm totally drinking tonight. I think he's drinking right now. Like I cannot with Simon tonight.
Simon, you're divorced, right? You've been married once and divorced once, or you've been divorced one time?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you married?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, you got no pushback from that. Oh, yeah. I've been drinking too much, yeah?
That's okay. I've been drinking too. It's okay. We having fun tonight.
Yeah.
It's okay. So listen,
call me up. I'll coach you.
You see your coach, or you'll call her out?
I'll coach her and husband. Like, goddamn, like.
Okay, so listen, Simon, I'm thoroughly entertained by you, right? I'm not triggered by you because I've been with my husband since 1997. I've been with the same black man for 25 years.
Have you ever sucked his toes?
Have I ever what?
Oh, what?
Have you ever sucked his toes?
No, but he sucked mine. So what is it? What
are we talking about? You see, M3, you see where you was about to go? Where you went, oh, what the? When I said something, right, and there's a black man saying something, and then is a black woman saying something else, where she said, yes, he did that to me, but...
You want me to lie to you, Simon?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's a level playing field, and at the end of the day, we've just got to get we've got to get our heads around this. This is not a problematic thing, and I think everyone that gets married is a privileged situation. You know, it's not a good or bad thing. We're not going up against anybody. I think it's just kind of interesting, and I think it's just hard sometimes to have the conversation. And when we have platforms where we can have the conversation, it's a good thing, you know.
Right, no issue there. So here's the thing, like, all love to you. I 100%.
You do that click thing like South African, or where are you from?
Okay. But listen, let me just get to this.
I've been around the world, girl. What's up?
I've been married for a long time, right? And every single one of us, we come with baggage. We come with these preconceived notions of what we think we're supposed to be.
No, we don't. No, not all of us. You do.
Okay,
don't
fine.
say.
Okay, fine.
This is another thing.
No problem. I come with
Not
baggage.
being funny.
No problem. Let's accept. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna accept that. I come with baggage.
There's no problem with that. There's no problem with that.
Right.
Saying,
I come with baggage.
Okay, hold on. One mic. Hold on, Simon.
I come with baggage, and like I told you, I'm from a Caribbean culture. I'm not from this matriarchal Black American experience. I'm from a Caribbean culture. And so there are a lot of negative things that I saw, right? And so my husband, sometimes we say things, but our actions prove differently. This is why oftentimes I tell people, don't listen to what people say, watch how they move. And thankfully, even though I told my husband, I'm not going to obey, right? Even though I told my husband, I don't want to take your last name, right?
Wait, you told him that too?
I certainly did, but guess what he did?
I thought that's a fail, right?
Man, let me tell you this. My husband is such a man that he put it down and said, listen, let's not talk about that right now, and cut the conversation. And that was the end of it.
You want to cut your husband off when he's turning around and telling you not to take your last name. Listen, woman.
Simon, can I please finish?
Okay, hold on, Simon. Let her finish.
So I have these, as you say, preconceived notions, trauma, whatever it is, right? I'm coming to a man, I'm not someone that's trying to take advantage of somebody, right? But I don't want to be abused. I don't want to be taken advantage of either. I want a loving, intimate relationship. And so, yeah, I did tell my husband, I'm not taking your last name. And he was like, you know what? Let's not talk about that. And cut the conversation. Didn't even entertain my bullshit.
So did that turn you off?
Did not even entertain my fucking bullshit. Years later, when it got to the point where we was about to really get married, sat down and explained to me, listen, we're going to be a unit. And explained to me the importance of family, and explained to me the importance of why it's important for us to have one unit here. And I fell the fuck back. There was no need for argument. There was no need for all this, I'm not going to accept it. Like, he knew that he was the man. There was no need for fighting. And once I was able to understand, I'm able to be myself. So once I understood that he's not taking anything away from me, he's adding to me, I fell the fuck back. There wasn't an argument. And I took the last name. And I proudly take the last name. It's not a problem. I can't hear you, hon. I can't hear you, Mr. Simon.
But I muted him real quick. But hold on, let me say something real quick, Simon. But I'm gonna assume the situation probably would have been different if he tried to argue down on taking his last name, and y'all not even married or engaged at that time. Although, you did try to shit test him. So I saw y'all be playing these games though sometimes.
I'm not playing a game. I don't like that. I wasn't playing a game. I was being sincere. One thing about me, when I say I'm candid, and I'm being sincere. I'm not sitting around here playing games with anybody. If I tell you that that's the way I feel, it's the way that I feel, right? My thinking could be wrong. My thinking could be flawed, and you can correct me. I'm open to being corrected. Okay. But I'm not sitting around here trying to play games with anybody ever, because I don't want to be played with.
So the thing is, maybe I missed something, right? But why was it so important, right? Okay, like I said, I don't know. Maybe at the time, maybe feelings wasn't. Like I said, this is all assumptions. Maybe feelings wasn't that deep enough, and that's why you probably said that. Hey, I need to make sure to let you know I'm not going to take your last name, Negro. If you're going to get married, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because to me, if some woman's gonna say, I'm not gonna take your last name, then I'll be like, okay, well, we don't have to get married.
But she just
I think that goes back to what you were saying about the obedience. She just
explained that culturally and the way she was raised and grew up, that was not the thing, guys. Y'all not listening.
But OG and Patrice, I did say I must have been missing something, because remember, at the time when she was trying to explain it, Simon kept on running his mouth or whatever, so I missed pretty much the key points that she was trying to illustrate.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to the same thing when she said about the obedience thing, right? Because it's like when you get, if she took her man's last name, it's like, oh, you own me or something, right? In a sense of that. That's what she was coming from. That's why I was like, I get what she's saying with the obedience part, and then of course the whole last name thing. It's not obedience; it's being joined together.
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you so much, because this is the thing when I try to, and we're on these panels, so it's difficult to always pull everything so quickly together. When I try to explain that I'm from a Caribbean background, I viewed it like, listen, I am a certain person. You met me as a certain person. As a man, you don't have to look at your social security card and look at a completely different name and think like, this is me now. You don't have to change your license. You don't have to change all these different things. You are getting a wife. But for me, I have to lose this identity. I'm looking at this first and last name that never was me before. I'm learning how to write this new name. I have to write this on my bank statements and all this stuff. Like, I feel like men feel like it's a challenge, and I'm not challenging the fact that you're not a man, and it's just, there's a loss. Can you like appreciate the fact that like there's a loss here, and I'm a whole person, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't love you, it's not that I don't appreciate your last name or anything like that. It's just that there's a loss. And once I recognized that there really wouldn't be a loss, that we were going to be a unit, and this man was able to work with me and kind of like, first of all, he shut my shit down. I was like, we ain't gonna talk about that right now, and left it.
I like that part though.
Yeah, later, we didn't even talk about it. He just said, we're not gonna talk about it right now, and left that shit alone and didn't even entertain my shit. But once I realized who he was and he saw me for who I was, I realized I'm not gonna really be losing anything. This man has never really stopped me from being who I was, and explaining to me the importance of the family unit. And I was better to, like, I was able to open up and receive what he was teaching me and telling me, as just cutting me the fuck off. Right? Like I say oftentimes, I'm open to learning, but keep in mind, you're talking to someone from a Caribbean background, and oftentimes, like, I'm not saying it's all bad, but there was a lot of hardships that women took on by roles. I don't want to even get into it, but it wasn't a matter of him being a simp and him being all these different things. Like, my husband is 100% all man, right? I wouldn't, as a matter of fact, I'm not attracted to anything that's less than masculine. I'm attracted to very masculine men. I'm attracted to big men, right? Like, in terms of a little bit, I don't like skinny guys. Like, everything that's masculine about a man, I'm attracted to. So, you know, like, I'm not attracted to someone that's going to be a pushover or anything like that.
Well, I'll definitely say this though, right? This is an example, right? Your story is an example of what many relationships are missing, Candy. They're missing the friendship part. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, we don't have to always jump into marriage, engagement, you know, all these other things that people talk about. And I understand people don't like the term friend zone and all, whatever. But friendship is what builds a strong unit, which requires a little bit of patience, a little bit of understanding, and self-control. You don't have to push back and get offended and be like, well, I mean, even though I you know, like I said that earlier or whatever, right? But just for the sake of the conversation. But realistically, you have to be patient if you really want to pursue that relationship with that woman. Same thing for women. If you want to pursue that relationship with men, you gotta be understanding, and you have to be patient with men too, though, because we all fall short. And salutes to Great Pill Podcast. Salutes to King and Dreams. Salutes to you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in.
I don't think so. I think when you meet your match, you meet your match. It's as simple as that. I don't think like you have to wait like a long period of time. I mean, all the married people in the world, salute. You know what I'm talking about. When you meet your match, you meet your match. And it's as simple as that. I mean, you may fall out, but I think there's a lot of people, and I demonstrated this on another podcast where I was like, there was like 3-4 men that were out here when they're trying to be red pill and all the rest of it. And I said, look, how long have you been in a relationship for? Period. And they were like, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. I'm like, God damn. We've been in like marriages for a whole 10 years. Like, you know, so how can you compare any sort of knowledge and relationship to that? And it's not to discredit anyone. It's just to say you need to understand what that means. you know, and it does mean something, and it means something beyond us. It means something beyond this podcast. It means something beyond this world. It means something beyond us, our children. Because when you turn around, look, I couldn't turn around to my child and say, yo, you know, the longest relationship I've been in was like 2 months. How's that gonna work in terms of how you're gonna like go, okay, how you're gonna marriage, how you're gonna build stuff, like stuff we talk about in terms of legacy and all the rest of it. I don't know. It's kind of sideways, but anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Simon. Well, guys, like, you know, it was definitely fun. Salutes to everyone on the panel. Welcome back, Ken to Ann. Like, you know, we definitely missed you. So I'm glad that you came back, you know.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. OG Patrice, definitely good to see you as well, too. I can't wait to tune into your show. 2:00 Pacific time.
No, it's 3:00 Mountain Time, because you guys know that you guys are behind. I think behind us now in California. So
no,
Arizona time never changed. So we're considered Mountain Standard Time at this moment because everybody else fell back.
Yeah, so I'm talking about for our time though. I'm talking about Pacific time. You're Mountain Standard Time. So if
okay, so what time is it there now in California?
9:19.
Okay, so you're an hour behind me. It's 10:19 here.
Yeah, so if you're saying you're starting your stream at 3:00
3 p.m. Arizona time.
Yeah, and I said 2 p.m. Pacific time, California time.
Okay.
Yeah.
These girls are like gold crystal dust. Like,
so we on the same page.
Women like OG and like, you know.
But you know, I want to say,
who are you playing with, man? You're testing these.
Okay, Simon, you I don't know what's up with you tonight, like you tripping. But anyway, I wanna say about the whole, you know, submission relationship thing. You know, I think you know, that the main people that are saying this and having these conversations and demanding, you know, the men that are demanding this and saying that women don't want to submit or whatever. I understand that there are modern women out here, right, in the younger generation that is about, you know, I'm just want to get my bag and I'm my own boss and I'm you know, the boss chick, and there's that, right? But I think that for the most part, and I'm gonna speak for the majority and as the majority, I think for the most part, women that want to be in a relationship, that want to be married, are these women that would automatically submit to men if it's the right man that's leading the marriage, the relationship, you know, doing all the things that I talked about earlier, pillar in community, good father, good brother, good son. Like, those are the qualities that the real women look for anyway in that man, and they will automatically submit to that man. It's never, I've never heard it be a conversation about it. But I will say what I have seen when it comes to a lot of relationships when it came to religion. Women that submit because of what the religion say that they should do, most of the time, those were the women that have been some of the most abused women. The women I've watched, my aunties that were deep into the religion, that were married and that were submitting because the Bible say, and it's no shade to no religion. But I have seen them get drugged the most by their husbands. So when we say, and don't get me wrong, all marriages go through stuff, you know, whatever. But I grew up watching my aunties, my play aunties, certain women in a community that were very religious. And they said, well, I got to commit because the Bible says I got to submit to my husband. And they took so much shit. They took so much shit off their husbands. They took beatings. They took cheating, multiple baby mamas, children, like, but they kept submitting. You know,
Right.
so I think we should be careful with how we use and say words and the reasoning for doing it. It just should be automatically be a natural thing, like real talk. It shouldn't even be a conversation that I'm arguing with the man that I love about him telling me to submit to him or feeling like he even have to say those words. Because first of all, if he's watching me as a woman while we're dating and how I'm moving, he'll know if I'm submissive. Because if I'm submissive to other people that I love in my life, and he watch me serve them, serve my community, he know 9 times out of 10 I'll be the same way, if not more, with him because he's my husband. You know what I mean? So again, conversation. You know?
Exactly.
And you know what was funny is,
just like I'm watching him as a man and how he leads and how he moves, I'm gonna know if he's gonna be a great husband and a lead his marriage. I'm gonna know it. The way I'm watching him move with other people in his life that he say he love and care about. And I'll just close with that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to add on just to one part.
Hold on, Wally. Hold on one second. Hold on, Wally. Hold on. You know what I mean? Great Pill Podcast, I see you in the building. Now, I came up here specifically, and he's smiling too. Came up for you, Diamond. I came up, turn your camera back on. I came up for you. You know what I mean? Because you shouted me out. You said I was great, and I was awesome, and I'm great at what I do, and you are dang right I am. I came up specifically for you, Diamond. Specifically for you.
You said Diamond? Who are you talking about? Simon?
I'm talking about Simon. Simon Diamond. He know what I'm talking about. What up, Diamond? He's muted too. Wally, go ahead.
No, yeah, but to OG Patrice's point, right? And this is why, personally, this whole connection between religion and the Bible, that needs to be stripped and cut down, because I'm getting sick and tired of that. Because once again, none of these labels of religion is connected and touch upon these Bibles. Period. I don't care what no one say. It's just not. It's just not. So and I'm getting tired of that stuff altogether. It's like, because my thing is, you just can't connect 1 and 2 together. Especially when you look up the definition of religion and what's based upon, it is an organization. I didn't know. I'm pretty sure the Bible is not an organization. It's a belief of a spiritual or whatever pastor through God. So how can you connect 1 and 2 together? You can't. So this whole thing of, putting one with the other, that's bullshit to me.
Let me say this, though.
Religion is all a flex of power. So.
Yeah. Let me say this. When it comes to here's the thing. Don't think I'm knocking on anyone's personal beliefs, Christianity or whatever, but I feel like when it comes to people who try to apply the Bible or in a form of Christian practicals, the one thing I don't respect is that you use that as a tool, whereas like you don't really reap the consequences, if that makes sense. Like, there gotta be consequences. Like in most religions, especially in other countries, like the reason why there's a lot of respect for other people, why there's maybe some type of fear, is because they know like consequences are being placed harshly whenever you commit a sin, whenever you doing something that's totally foul and shady, and you're getting caught for that. But I feel like when it comes to these religious practicals, it's more like a scapegoat for you to keep doing more wrong if you feel like all you have to do is just say, I repent of my sins and the church forgives me, and we're going to just say amen, right? So when you're at a point where you don't really have to worry about, being exiled or being shamed for like what you're doing, and everybody's supposed to just forgive, even though you inflicted so much pain, physical pain, mental and spiritual pain in that person, and you're just forgiving like that because, people saying God forgive you like that, that to me is blasphemous, But that's all I just want to say.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
I agree, with what you're saying. Again, so like I said, watching somebody use religion as to say why they should stay in a marriage that's abusive, I think that is outside of actually what their religion says, if they are following the Bible. Because you got certain religions would tell you that you shouldn't get a divorce. Take, for instance, the Catholic religion. They don't really believe in divorce. They shun that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there were many women and men and children getting abused in marriages under the Catholic religion, but they were staying because the religion said that they not supposed to get a divorce. So
what you're doing is you're pushing.
They would take so much, and then they would get, like you said, exiled or excommunicated from the faith if they got a divorce.
No, what you're doing is you're pushing a negative perspective and trying to push a negative perspective onto people that are normal. People do not acknowledge this sort of stuff. Like, we as human beings on a normal plateau who just do normal day-to-day jobs are not in day camps. We don't know what that looks like, and no one is about to walk into a day camp and see what that looks like because they don't care. What they care about is their Nikes. They care about their Mercedes Benz. They care about their blinging and trying to sort of, front against, their peers. So all this sort of stuff where we turn around and we go, okay, we're trying to reach black people. It's the same thing that we've been trying to push for generations upon generations upon generations. And that's what got people like Martin killed, because at the end of the day, deleted, because people like you did not really give a shit about what really matters. Like, you want to push this sort of narrative.
Absolutely, you want to push this narrative what you're talking about this nonsense. I'm lost now.
Yeah, you are lost because
it's
a nonsense. It's a nonsense.
What are you talking about, Simon?
What are you actually doing?
Are you on the subject, Simon? Like, I told y'all, Simon is intoxicated, okay? And he totally, like, we were on a particular subject, right? I'm baffled. But anyway, I'm saying, my bottom line to what I'm saying is I watch people, get destroyed under the pretense of religion that they were trying to hold steady to, and it destroyed them. It nearly killed them because they were holding on to their faith or the religion of what they said, that they should stay in a marriage and be abused, and they should take that because their religion says that or whatever. That's the only point I was trying. I've seen that my whole life. Relatives, aunts, aunts that took verbal abuse and physical abuse and multiple cheating just consistently with the husband, but they were still the submissive. And I just don't believe And I know biblically that the Bible does not say you need to stay in a marriage if you're being beat, if you're being abused in any form. I don't serve that type of God. So when I saw that, I was like, that has been a big hindrance, I think, in our community when it comes to marriage and relationships and knowing when to cut the biblical cord in a relationship. I don't care if it is your husband. I don't believe that God wants you to stay with a man that's beating you damn near for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So
right.
Simon, we gonna bring you back up, bro, but please be respectful.
You still being submissive. Like, come on. You know what I mean? You still being submissive to that man because because your religion or your faith or whatever is saying that you should be. No, I believe that's not true. That's just my personal belief. I don't know.
No,
you
that's
guys
good. No, I was say like you're absolutely right, but what they're when people say that is totally false. You know what I mean? Because think about this though. To me, what it seems like is that the only way that you can really exit out of a marriage is if that person decides to break their vows by cheating. But the thing is, you can break your vows in many different ways by not obeying the scriptures when it comes to loving your wife and protecting her. And the same thing for the wife, like, if she's not doing her duties, like, to please her husband and fulfill, his needs when it's needed, she's also breaking those vows as well, too. Because you make a covenant together. You're making a promise. So when that promise is being broken, you know what I mean? And you're not really, building each other up in the way how I guess God intended, like you shouldn't really tolerate it. And I think people practice on tolerating high abuse rates, you know what I mean? Like verbal abuse, all kinds of things that just really just rip a person apart mentally. So that's what I just wanted to say. Simon, go ahead and state your point before we wrap up. I know we did overtime, but it was getting good in this conversation. So
yeah. I mean, I appreciate Patrice. I'm not saying anything she said is right or wrong. What I'm saying is it's always a lean to the woman. It's always like, oh yeah, the woman's this and the woman's that. It's like, but at the end of the day, it's not like there's a lean to the man or that. It's like there are just certain particular types of people that choose to do certain types of things. So like if you choose to get into a relationship with someone, if you choose to sort of have a child with someone, if you choose to have these sort of interactions with people, and like that's your lifespan, then take responsibility for it. Why put it onto the public? It's like because the public bear on it, and that's why we have the tax system. Because it's like, oh, you can't figure out your own shit. Now the taxpayer has to bear that shit. It's like, no, like figure out your own shit. Try to be educated and teach your children what it needs to be in life. Try to teach your peers. If you try to sort of be with a woman, understand that that's your partner, and you need to teach them. If you're the man, or if you might be a simp. I mean, for Christ's sakes, like the woman might be the one that's teaching the man. Whatever it is, just don't be the taxpayer's bull crap dick. I mean, don't do that. That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay, Simon, thank you for.
I'm just saying, I don't believe that women or men should use submissive in a biblical way, so to speak, necessarily to be in a marriage or relationship. If you love someone, like I said, I believe it should be a natural thing. I know what the Bible says about it. The Bible speaks of it in a different form than to a certain extent. But because it's there to give us
I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on, Simon. She's still talking. Hold on.
like it's there as a guide, like it is for many other things to guide us on how we should be in life. So that's why it's there in the Bible. But to live your life and be miserable and be sad and be in abusive relationship and you still want to hold fast to something that biblically says you shouldn't be, that's where the problem comes in, with knowing when to let go, knowing when to quit, knowing when to give it up. Like I said, watching someone constantly use the Bible and say, well, the Bible says I got to be a submissive wife, and your husband is a habitual cheater or habitual abuser. That to me is a conflict in and of itself. That's the only thing. And, I don't know, Candace, as a woman, since you the only woman other than myself on the panel, what say you on that? Your take?
Yeah, my take on what the Bible teaches.
Damn photos in it.
Yeah, like about the submissive part. I know it's there biblically as a guidance for us to teach us like how we should be with one another, how we should treat one another. And I agree with that part. But I'm talking about the part when it comes to, like I said, seeing women still be submissive to men that are not worthy being submissive of in their marriages, when they take abuse, habitual lying,
men,
a lot of things like that. But they still use it biblically in that way. What's your take on that?
Well, before I speak, go ahead and let Simon go ahead. Let him. It's entertainment. Go ahead and let him rip. I know you're trying to keep order, but let him say what he has to say.
No, but he's not going to be interrupting people.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, gone is Simon. I don't know what's Simon.
He can do it on his own platform.
I want to know what he's drinking though. But anyhow, what do I think? I've gotten to the point in my life. What's up, Bolo? I've gotten to the point in my life in which
Bolo TV.
It's a little late to fall.
I find that people oftentimes resonate with truths that are going to, like, you know how people talk about confirmation bias? So people will quote parts of the Bible when it serves them, but the parts that they don't follow, they don't really worry about that. So the fornication and the sex before marriage, we ain't gonna talk about that. They're wild oats. But when it comes to submission, the Bible says to do this, and the Bible says to do that, and so people utilize. So I don't know. I've gotten to the point in which I'm a little less stringent on the Bible as opposed to what I believe is being righteous. And that could be teachings from Buddhism. It could be teachings from the Quran. It could be teachings from wherever.
All forms of religion.
Right, because at the end of the day, there's certain truths that hold true no matter what religion you're talking about, right? And so at some point, I as it pertains to marriage and love and stuff like that, I'm not going to sit here in front and tell you that I'm going to do everything the Bible says. I believe in being a good person. I'm not someone that's out here trying to take advantage. If anybody trying to scam, scheme, or nothing of the sort, I'm not even going to entertain a dinner if I'm not interested in you. I'm not even going to take your money, take your dinner, take your anything. If I'm not interested, I'm not going to entertain it. So I don't play games, but I think when it comes to religion, sometimes I wish that we would leave. I mean, it's not always possible, but sometimes I feel like I wish we would leave religion out of it, because we often take the pieces that we want to entertain when it serves us, and when it doesn't serve us, we throw it out. And I feel like be consistent.
I agree with that. I agree.
Like if we're gonna have a conversation about religion, let's be consistent. Take all of it and live your life fully like that as much as you possibly can. Or don't tell me about what I'm supposed to do. You be accountable. You look at the Bible and hold yourself accountable. That's what you need to do. Right. So that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Hold on. Let me bring in both TV back. Yeah. Hold for a minute.
That's him.
Oh, okay. Oops. Go ahead.
I got him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Wally.
TV.
Oh, okay. So real quick, right? So real quick. So I looked it up, right? So the biblical concept of submission simply means the willingly display oneself in service to their partner. That's basically it.
Right. So in that form, like I said, I know it's there as a guidance for us to follow, right? In the Bible, it literally is explaining that that's how we should be towards one another. So I get that part. I get that part of it. But I'm saying when we use it like what
I know when people want to jade it the meaning of it to make it something else. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Bolo TV, man, what's going on? Bolo? You there, bro?
I know what's going on.
Bolo, your sound is out, bro.
That's the devil.
Yeah.
My devil don't want to hear Bolo.
He may need to drop off and come back in.
Right, I'm gonna put him in the back for a second.
And that's the part that I'm talking about, that I see a lot of
okay, he's back on.
A lot of Christians do, or a lot of Muslims use the Quran, and they adamant about this one particular thing they want you to do, but then they doing 10 of the wrong other things and don't want to address that part of it. You know what I mean? That's the part for me that's hypocritical that I see happen a lot when it comes to religion. Yeah. Like a man will be so stuck on that woman submitting to him because the Bible says it or the Quran says it or whatever says it, but you are a habitual fornicator.
I remember when my father had a in the Bronx. So I'm from the Bronx, so Caribbean, grew up in the Bronx, blah blah blah. I'll say this really quickly. I'm gonna keep it real quick. I remember specifically my father had a garage, right? My father came to this country as a tailor. He became a mechanic. He had his own garage, and I remember specifically he had an employee that was a mailman that would come by and help fix cars afterwards. And the mailman, I forgot what his name was. I think it was Gerard, but I can't remember. He has a wife. The wife was a beautiful woman, very respectful, dressed decently, always well put together, very decent. Like when I look at her, I was like, wow, what a put together woman. But there were times where I would go visit my father and my father would say, don't say nothing. That woman that he's over there kissing or hugging up on, that's not his wife. Right. And so I remember he obviously was cheating on his wife. But one thing about Gerard, and I might be messing up that name, but I think it's Gerard, but let's just go with Gerard. He was adamant about he will not eat pork. He was like, I will not eat pork. And he would look at the ingredients. Everything had to be like what he ate was very, very, very specific. And I thought to myself as a teenager, he's so concerned about this food, but yet he's no problem being dishonest to his wife.
Breaking the other commandment. Basically,
no problem to him to just be dishonest to his wife, but I will not eat pork. And there are things so. I mean, sometimes, like I said, when I'm on these spaces, I'm condensing for the sake of the conversation because I know we have but limited time and blah blah, and I don't want to be boring. But when I say I don't want to do certain things, it's because of some of the things that I've seen. It's not just because I'm making up. I refuse to do this. It's really because of the things that I've seen.
You and me both can witness, growing up, like you said, and that's what makes you question things now, as an adult, when you hear people say certain things in these YouTube streets and they totally contradicts, what they claim they stand for, what they say or what they believe, and it totally contradicts it. And that's what can happen a lot of times in a marriage or a relationship when you would fall under a certain rule or even whatever your religion is. You know, you only want it to work when it works for you, when you want it to work for you. And when it don't, you want it to be ignored or not judged by others. But yet you're doing the same thing.
I think also, and this is something that I think, you know, and I get what Candy and OG Patrice is saying, but y'all gotta understand is that men don't view intimacy the way that y'all view it. We don't. And I'm not saying it justifies anything. I'm not saying that makes anything right, but we just don't view it the way y'all view it. And we don't feel the way that y'all feel about it. We don't. And we never will. You know what I'm saying? We can try to understand how y'all feel, but y'all gotta understand, y'all get that thing every month. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That affects y'all emotionally. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not gonna get into graphic details. And y'all can have kids, right? We're never gonna have a kid. Never. We're never gonna give birth. So intimacy to us, it don't have that same definite meaning. When you're intimate, you can bring life into the world, literally, physically bring life into the world. Man has intimacy. He's not bringing no life into the world. He can basically push life into somebody or direct life into somebody, but he cannot have a kid physically. So our view of intimacy is different from y'all just based on a biology thing and just everything else. And even when it comes down to spiritually, we just don't view it the same way, and we never will. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just certain things that y'all do too that we don't like either. There's a lot of things that women do that we do not like. That we are like, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? But women, we know that y'all don't like the cheating thing, but there's things that y'all do, whether it's over talking, whether it's not listening, whether it's just an array of things that women can do that really irk a man. You know what I'm saying? That really make our skin crawl, that we detest and hate. And one of the main things that men hate is that when women don't listen. We hate that. Like, we hate that. On the grand scale, when she don't listen and she not really trying to hear us out and she not being supportive, men like to be supportive because when we get into the world, we're told that nobody cares about us at all. We're told that after support, you got to go and provide and go get it. That's what men are told. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you can even see celebrities. Shaq said his daughters can live with him forever. They never have to move, but his son's got to go out there and get it. Men have different expectations. So based on that, we're going to react and do things differently. We're going to feel differently. We're going to be differently. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to deal with different struggles than y'all do. And y'all have your own set of struggles. And I'm not taking away from nothing that sisters go through. Nothing at all. Bolo, please come back. I'm not taking away from anything that y'all go through. But you got to understand that the things that we go through, there's certain things that the way that y'all put like infidelity up there, we put certain things up there too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we see things and view things differently from y'all. But Bolo, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Bolo.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you now.
How you guys doing, man? Yep. Love and blessings to everybody. I'm struggle streaming over here, so you guys gotta bear with me.
And before you say something, Bolo, I've been wanting to get an opportunity to tell you, I don't know who blocked me on your channel, but I am blocked. And I don't know why.
I'm going to take care of it. I don't know who blocked you. We don't block, but I'll take care of it tonight. And I apologize for that. A lot of you guys have been making a lot of good points, man. You've been making a lot of good points. And first off, let me say that the Bible is not a book of religion. Religion was built around the Bible. Okay? Religion is built and it's geared towards man's control over the world. That's what religion is. Okay, it's man's control. Okay, that's one of the reasons why, or the main reason why, the Pharisees and Sadducees wanted to kill Christ, because Christ came to take the power away from these, pastors, bishops, or whoever, and give it back to the people. This is why he never taught in a building. Never. He taught on the streets. In fact, he says, who can put me in a building made with man's hands? I'm too big for that, right? We have to understand that the Lord's gospel was never meant to be stagnant. It was never meant to be planted in a building. It's meant to be planted into people to spread the gospel. You can't spread it in a building. So let's just understand that the Bible stands on its own. Religion changes. Religion metamorphosizes to the man or the men or whoever is ruling at that point. So once we understand that, we can move past it. What 84 was saying, to a certain extent, was absolute truth in the aspect of men are wired different than women, women are wired different than men. So we see things different, right? So I'll give you an example. When we're talking about a husband and a wife, right? The wife, women typically see things specific. Men typically see things in general. So what do I mean by that? Being the head of the household, being the provider, the nurturer, and if need be, sacrifice my life for you, I have to see things 10 steps ahead. You know, if you have a man that only sees things when it's 2 steps ahead, that's a problem. We're supposed to see things very out there so that we can prepare in most situations. Women see things specific, the little things that we lose. If you have a good wife or if she's on point like that, she's going to pick those things up. For example, you know, women typically know the temperature in the home, right? So let's say if little Johnny has had a bad day in school, when I'm coming home from work, my wife is going to give me the temperature on, yo, this is what's going on. The reason why he's upset, pissed off, whatever. She gives me the lay of the land so that I know how to, you know, traverse the topography of this landscape. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So it's both of us working in tandem. Now, when we talk about, you know, men and women being submissive to men, this is a very touchy topic for a lot of people because, you know, with men, you know, we haven't had a voice in a long time, right? We haven't had a voice. So if you have a mute who hasn't spoken for 50 years of his life and you all of a sudden give him a voice, he's going to tell you everything from what he can remember up to now, right? So we have to give them a little leeway. These men that are talking about submission, they're hurt men. They're hurt men. They're men with trauma. We have to understand, because when we talk about submission, obedience is something that is demanded by God. Demanded. There is no thought process on that. Submission is a choice. This woman makes a choice in submitting who she chooses to submit to. So the question is, what are you giving her, or what are you showing her for her to submit to? She has every choice to say, I don't want to submit to this man because he doesn't meet the qualifications that I need. And I think that with the way these men are being brought up, they can't understand that it's a choice. You know, when women submit, and we have to understand the scripture and how it says, women submit to their husbands. You don't submit to a random dude on walking down the street, okay? Wives submit to their husbands. Women ought to respect men in the street, right? So if there's a woman and I'm a man and we're not married, we respect each other. We give salutations. How you doing? Everything good? And we keep it pushing. Submission is from a wife to a husband, and not in any other circumstance. A wife to a husband. And this is what's not being taught. What's being said in these platforms is women should just submit. They should just submit, and they ought not to. Okay, the scriptures doesn't say a random woman submit to a random man. It doesn't say that. They can't find it. This is why it's important for you to open up the book and read it yourself so that you are not beguiled. Because understand, these men will beguile you the same way these women will beguile you. So if you are a woman of God, you want to meet a man that matches your fly. If this man is not fitting the qualifications of what a man of God should be, then your job is to pick up and move on. That's your job. If you wind up submitting to this man, marrying this man, then there's only one person you can blame, and that is yourself. You chose this dude who did not meet the qualifications of a man that you should be submitting to. So you ought to look in the mirror and say, I take the blame. The same way when we're talking about men of God, when they find a woman that is not a woman of God and does not have the attributes of a woman of God, when they take this woman in as a wife and she wind up taking them to court or whatever the situation is that women of God don't do, you can't blame them. You have to look in the mirror because you found them. You vetted them. You chose. And the most important word in that is chose. You chose this man. You chose this woman. So you have to look in the mirror because that's the only way we're going to grow. When we acknowledge our mistakes, we acknowledge the red flags that we saw and chose to ignore. We look for the feelings of love opposed to the actions of love. That's where we're at today. Today is I'd rather feel in love than actually have the actions of love. Love is actionable action, right? And this is what we're not understanding, that love is not just a feeling that you feel inside. Now, it will cause you to react. So in other words, if me and 84 got into an argument and I hit him, now because of my action in hitting him, it's now going to cause him to be angry. So there had to be an action that happened that caused him to react in the way he does. So cause and effect. So when you're talking about love, we're talking about kindness, we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking about loyalty, we're talking about truth, we're talking about being generous, patience, directional, empathetic, sympathetic, financial, directional, health, protecting, nourishing, charitable. All these things and many more are the pillars of love. And when you have these things genuinely in your heart, the response that a woman is going to give you is Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman. That is going to be the response. And vice versa. When a woman shows the attributes of love, right, and it's actionable, right? Her being a multiplier, her being a pillar of rest, not stress, her being a prayer over him when he cannot pray for him, her being his right hand, so forth and so on. There's going to be a response. I am going to give you everything that I am because of who you are. And this is how we move in tandem. We have to understand as men, being head of household, we like to take these names, kings, czars, dictators, warlords, all these different names, and then try to contribute it to Christ. Christ was none of these things, right? Christ was more of a servant to his wife, which is the church, than he was a king. That didn't change his position in kingship. But what he showed you is a king is more of a servant to his people than he is to himself. And this is where, us as men on a whole are losing. And this is why we're looking at these women that are not submitting, because we're not hitting the keys in which they need for us to unlock that door. We're trying to force them. We're trying to take biblical principles and add them to a carnal lifestyle. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't. So the answer to a woman submitting to a man is if that man exhibits Christ-like leadership, the only answer, the only response to that is submission. But until us men start to exhibit these attributes, women will not submit to men.
Nice, Bo TV, and I'm glad that you came up at the last part of the show, because we definitely needed spiritual perspective on things. But unfortunately, guys, I gotta close out because I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. But it was definitely fun. I know I said I was gonna close out like a long time ago, but I couldn't help it. Especially with having conversations and Simon and everyone else stuff. But I do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I hope to see everybody else again soon. I do appreciate the feedback that was given, because we do need to talk about, a lot of things that what we could do to help build each other up as a community. So hopefully, maybe in the next couple live streams, we could try to give it a try and talk about some type of financial stuff or something that can really help. It could even be helpful for like mental health or whatever, but it's just something that it could actually contribute. So, stay tuned for something like that. So,
yeah, I definitely, like I started off with the conversation, is we need to heal, men and women,
sure.
on both ends, right? Mm-hmm. And only when we do that, we can go in relationships and have healthy relationships. Is you got to be healthy with self first, right? So
Absolutely.
let's take care of us first, and then go in a relationship, and we can be more beneficial to each other. I'll just close with that, and thank you for letting me come up. Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat.
Salute.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
Yeah, everyone have a good night. Can I just say these last words just to add to what OG Patrice said? When you know your worth, you'll demand your values and your standards. And a lot of us don't know our worth. So before I become a husband, physically, I have to be a husband. You don't become a husband when you become a husband, if that makes sense. You have to have these attributes before you actually put it into action. It's the same thing with the wife. She's not a wife when she gets into being a wife. She has to have these attributes. So that's what we have to understand. We have to be patient. We have to be still. We have to ask questions. We need to vet these men and vet these women. We spend more time vetting houses that we purchase and cars that we purchase than talking to the person that we have the potential of spending the rest of our lives with, or that's going to be the mother or the father of our children. So we don't need to rush. You don't need to rush. Take your time. Be on your direction and intention. Take your time to understand who you are and what you need and where you're going, and to know your father, so that when you come to meet this woman or you come to meet this man, you already know what you need. You already know what you're looking for, and you're not guessing.
Definitely well said. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a blessed night.
No problem. You too.
Good night, Bolo.
All right. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone. All right. Good night, Ken and Wally, Bolo, OG Patrice. All right.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Knowledge and relationships